Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with
I
the
am.
entertainment industry.
Yes.
That's a camera.
Yes, it's a
Okay.
delightful
Okay.
camera.
And this is a microphone.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I got it down, but thank you.
Okay. This is my friend Jeff Garlin. We're meeting. Well, we met for the first time upstairs.
We've hung out.
We hung out a little bit.
Yeah, which I wanted to do. That's why I came early before the show. I wanted to spend time with you because I'm a great admirer of yours.
I'm a great admirer of yours.
I'm honored that you feel that way.
And there's something about you that I admire that I think you're not even necessarily responsible for. It's like maybe not even to your credit, but you give off a very specific energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you this, maybe like in a text or in an Instagram message. Okay, I am in this exile called New York.
Right.
We're in Queens right now.
Right.
This is not my natural habitat.
Right.
Like you, I'm a Chicago Jew.
Right.
There's a certain energy from Chicago Jews, Midwest Jews in general, but I'm saying Chicago Jews. It's like an energy.
Yes.
And it's very comforting for me, and especially my father passed away last year, and my mother passed away this year, and now I'm getting like all nostalgic for my roots. So you give off that, and by the way, you just flip it around for 1 second. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to show the Cubs.
Yeah, Chicago Cubs. This is actually a black hat with the red, thing. I like it. I have the blue one too. I've got a million hats.
Now,
Cubs.
could you please explain, in the spirit of the Lenny Bruce routine about the Jewish and Goyish, could you please explain why the Cubs is the Jewish team, not the Sox? Because
actually, that's not.
Oh, you disagree?
Yeah, there's I know a lot of Jews
Jewish
way
Sox fans?
into Sox. A lot of Northsiders.
Northsiders?
Yes, people in the northern suburbs. That's been for years. They go down. But yeah, there's a lot more Jews on the north side of the town, so obviously there'll be more Jewish Cub fans. But there's also, what's that area on the south side?
Hyde Park.
But Hyde Park, but what's that, where the Jews, it was a Jewish enclave for many years.
Yeah, the Yekkes, the Germans, lived in Hyde Park near the UFC.
No, it's a different, I can't remember offhand. But anyhow.
Flossmoor?
Yes.
The suburbs, the south suburbs.
Yeah. So, excuse me. Yes, so there's a lot of,
I was not familiar with the Jewish Sox fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah. You went to Wrigley recently.
I was there Monday night, yes. I wore tefillin.
At the game? Why? That was a very random.
Well, that's being funny. Okay, I made you laugh.
You did.
So,
speaking of the Jewish references, we'll get back to Wrigley. But so, as I mentioned, my mother passed away this year, so I'm saying Kaddish. So before we started shooting, so I said to Jeff, listen, I have to go daven ma'ariv. I have to go pray the evening prayer. And if I don't do it now, it's going to be hanging on my head. I'm not going to be able to relax. So we're half a block from the Ohel, from the Lubavitcher Rebbe's resting place. So there's like people daven there. There's minyan. There's people pray down there. So I said, I'm going to run to the minyan. You're welcome to come with. And he's like, it's okay. I'll hang out here. I said, hold on a second. Wasn't there like a Curb Your Enthusiasm about
with
the
minyan? Yeah.
The minyan episode, right. And then, but
Larry gets kicked out. They don't want him because he brought Bill Buckner with them.
Because he brought Bill Buckner. Okay.
Yeah.
And you told me something very interesting that I don't know how much people are up on their sports. I wouldn't even call it sports trivia. I think it's pretty famous.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill Buckner committed a famous error.
Yes, for the Boston Red Sox. They had the game, and Mookie Wilson hit a ball, went between his legs. Anyhow, he really was a pariah in an entire city.
Yeah.
A pariah.
Hated.
And so for doing the ball, and people were more, they accepted more after the Red Sox won the World Series. However, Larry wanted to give him redemption.
Right.
And so in the episode, a baby comes out of a burning window, building's burning, a baby comes out and he catches the baby.
Catches it.
And that, to me, that's one of those moments, like, yeah, it's funny, yeah, it's all that, but it was so heartwarming, that he got his,
So when you tell me that, and I asked you, like, was it like legitimately healing? For
It
him?
was definitely healing. I watched him. He was filled with joy.
How many times have you seen that, in the context of art, where somebody's fictitious life, the role they're playing, heals something from their real life?
Oh, that's a good question. Excuse me. I don't have that off the top of my head. I'm sure it has happened, and I'm sure that I could realize that it was happening because I know a lot about films and filmmaking and the stories behind the actors and what have you. So, but I guarantee that has happened. But I couldn't tell you who offhand.
You would think maybe if it would be like somebody who wrote their own story, you know, they wrote their own screenplay, and so they wrote it to be that way. I'm saying where they couldn't have even engineered it, and they ended up in this role. Maybe they didn't even know how it was going to have an effect on them.
Yeah,
I'm sure it happens.
You can do things in my business that end up being profound. Who's prepared to experience being profound? You know, it's profound, yeah. And so I'm sure that people came aboard something. And also, not only the role, but a lot of times who's in the other roles around you, you know. Yeah, a lot of things can be profound that way.
So the format here, the call-in show, we take calls.
Yes,
but
which
then
I'm
like,
looking forward
and
to.
then when the people call, like they're serious, they're real things. They're not random. They're not made up things. So I tend to take it very seriously because it's somebody's life. Yeah.
Yes.
But in between, I guess maybe it's even like catharsis. I tend to be irreverent because
I'm going with you wherever you go.
Okay.
And then also when the people call, which I'll be listening to on the headphones, I don't want to answer their questions for them.
They might.
But what I'd like to do is talk about whatever your answer is, because that's what I find fascinating. Me a guy, funny guy, going to give them advice, that's no good for anybody.
But you told me upstairs that all the funny guys have real darkness in their past. And if you've gone through that,
there's something.
Then you do have wisdom.
Yeah, but by the way, there are many of my peers that are wise, and many of them that aren't, but that are wise. So I get that. But I'm here because of you and my
three wisest comedians.
The three wise men of comedians.
Yeah.
Well, George Carlin.
Okay.
Wise man.
By the way, Carlin, if you watch him, is an amazing writer. Amazing writer.
Yes.
He's not even that funny. He's profound.
He's profound. Yes.
He's not a philosopher.
But he is funny.
Of course he's funny.
The thing is, he became, he was very much early on a very commercial comedian. And then he slowly built into being irreverent. What happened?
We're good?
Okay.
It was live TV.
Yeah.
Okay, Carlin, is your number one or no particular order?
No particular order. Carlin, Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Carlin
was more political and Pryor was more about the human condition.
Yes, that would be yes. And if Pryor was very intimate and Carlin was talking about the human condition, but on a grand scale.
Right.
I'm trying to think of who else comes to mind.
The two people you named so far are no longer living.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that they're the two that pop in my head right now. I'm trying to think. I'm going through, those are the two that hit me.
Okay. I'm censoring myself because I also have opinions, but I don't want to have opinions about comedy.
Why not?
Because I'm intimidated. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm very intimidating.
No, but
I get it. We're all good.
Take this craft seriously.
Let's take phone calls.
Okay, you know what? Okay, Yisrael? Yeah, we have a call. Do we have a caller?
You have a son named Yisrael.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you do.
Of course.
My kids are James and Duke. Very Jewish names.
By the way, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
You have a Jewish name?
Yosef. Yosef.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my Jewish name.
That.
Yeah.
So, folks, Jeff Garlin's Jewish name is Yosef.
Yeah.
Biblical
Yosef. Yeah.
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
Oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber, a big Jew.
Okay. Yeah.
Cats, by the way, no one talks about it. All the cats were Jewish.
Really?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
All right.
You know, Cats was based on a T.S. Eliot poem.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah,
if only T.S. Eliot could see the production. If only he was at the Winter Garden in the middle of it.
There's stray cats who hang around this studio, and I feed them.
Oh, by the way, I saw one when I came in.
Yeah, they hang around.
Really cool though.
Yeah.
Like almost like said, "Hey man,
Yeah,
welcome.
They don't.
I'm gonna be over here."
They're my vibe check.
Yeah.
Because if people who are cool, they will go over to them.
Yeah.
They know cats. You can't.
Yeah,
fool
this
them.
real skinny cat greeted me.
The orange and white one.
The orange and white one.
If he likes you, that means you're good.
Oh, that's very nice.
I'm telling you. No,
he felt very comfortable with me.
Okay.
That kind of like, it was interesting. It was a unique experience.
Good energy.
You know, if it's better visually for the program.
No, whatever. You be comfortable. You be comfortable.
Oh, by the way, I'm just so used to. All right, this is perfect. The cup. I got it. All right.
Okay. We have a caller.
Put this in
All right, let's put the caller on. Let's.
I'm fascinated with what's about to happen.
I have no idea what it's going to be.
No, I know, but I'm just fascinated, and I'm honored to be here.
I'm also honored to be here.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, Rabbi. Hello, Mr. Garlin.
Hi, Moshe.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on the call.
My honor. Okay, what are we talking about tonight?
So I have two questions. I'll start with my background and go start the first one. Basically, my entire life, I've had no connection with my dad. He hasn't been present from before I was even born. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him. And a few years ago, I found out that he has a son-in-law, my brother-in-law, who runs a yeshiva in Jerusalem and who does share him online. So being curious, I happen to,
I'm just translating for everyone. He gives classes online.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's sort of like a prestigious scholar.
Yeah.
And now you're saying this is the husband of your sister.
Yes, from my dad's side.
Now this is a half sister. This is a half sister.
Yeah.
Okay, different mother.
Yeah.
Do you know this sister?
No.
Okay. All right, continue, please. I'm sorry for interrupting.
So I started watching a lot of his classes and I started getting really into it. I started resonating with it. And I often hear him saying in his classes, if you have any questions, you could email me, talk to me, whatever about. And I feel like this very weird position where on the one hand, I like this rabbi. He happens to be my brother-in-law.
Right.
But on the other hand, he doesn't know anything about me. And if I try and make any connection with him, it might blow up in all of our faces and cause a lot of drama.
I hear you. Okay. You mind if I ask you questions? And if you don't want to answer, you can just tell me to back off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it'll kind of help me to understand this a little bit better. Obviously, you know, the situation where you've never met your father is an unusual situation. So you don't have to, you can divulge as much or as little as you're comfortable doing so. Like, what's the background? Why are you estranged from your father?
I don't want to withhold. I don't know myself. I've asked.
You asked your mother?
Nobody's told me. Not even my other half siblings, not my grandparents, not my mother. Nobody's told me about it.
Did you grow up with a stepfather?
No, I grew up with my grandfather before he passed away.
That was like your father figure.
In a way, and then there's people from shul that I had a good connection with.
So you didn't have your father, and you didn't have a main father figure. You had some people in different times and different capacities who stepped in. And I'm assuming you're in your 20s now, or?
Yeah, 21.
Okay. So, before we even get into this the question that you're asking me, because it's a real question. And again, if I'm going somewhere you don't want to go, you just tell me, to back off. A connection with a parent is one of those essential things. It's like It's like food and water and air and sleep. It's like, it's not a luxury. It's like one of these people who have abusive parents. The reason it messes them up so bad is because a normal abusive person, you walk away from them. Eventually, you get rid of them. A parent who's abusive, even a parent who's an awful parent, it's almost impossible to completely tear yourself away from them because the connection is so deep. So when you don't have a relationship, when there's this void, like I'm not calling you broken. I'm not, I'm not saying that you're messed up for life, but I'm saying that's a big void to not have your father and not even that's why I asked you, did you have like a stepfather? Because sometimes stepfathers are just, your mother's husband, but sometimes stepfathers really step up and take on that role. But, to not have that at all, how you've taken it and what you've done with it, I don't know. But there's no question that that's like a life-defining type of void in a person's life. So as I'm saying this, do you relate to this, or you're like, no, I don't necessarily agree. Happened to me, and it's no big deal.
I definitely relate to it. I think over the years I've gotten better at it, but I relate to it.
So I'm assuming, at some point you want to get married.
Yeah.
And then be a father.
Yeah, that would be a very nice dream, a goal to have.
Yeah. So like, to me, the whole question of like your brother-in-law is almost like a red herring. It's like, it's not, to me, it's not a life-changing. We can talk about it. We'll get back to it. I'm not trying to, squirm away from that issue, but I'm saying, to me, I'm hearing you talk, I'm hearing your backstory, and to me, the most important thing, like if I never speak to you ever again, and I want to feel that we accomplished something in our conversation, for me, I would like to feel that at least we touched upon the idea that the most important thing, who am I to know? I don't know your mission in life, but like just knowing what I know, like it would appear to me, it would be logical to me that a big part of your purpose in life is to be a cycle breaker, to be the father that you never had. And to me, like that's the most important thing, is like not whether or not you have a brother-in-law, but it's like whether or not you're ready to be a father. It's almost to me like the brother-in-law thing is almost like a distraction. It's almost like it's almost like giving yourself just enough to like tide yourself over, but it's not the real thing. I mean, maybe your hope is that you'll connect with him and that'll lead to something else, and you meet your sister, and then from there maybe you'll meet your father. But I don't know. I mean, did you consciously think that through? Like, did you have in the back of your mind a hope like where this would lead?
Yeah, I think you're hitting it on the nail.
Okay. Tell me.
Like,
yeah.
Use it as a red herring, go to my brother-in-law, and then maybe I'd have a relationship with my father, which is something I've definitely wanted for years.
I'm going to say something really rude, and that is, I'm sure this guy gives great classes. I bet you that you're not entirely objective about how good his classes are. At what point did you know he was your brother-in-law? Before or after you started watching his classes?
I found out when I was very young.
So you knew this guy, you knew who he was before you started watching his stuff.
Yeah, I knew him, and then
so
I asked around like other Rebbeim I knew, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, that's a really good rabbi."
Right, and you're like, "Oh, I can't tell them. This is really my secret brother-in-law." I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to my friend Jeff upstairs, Rabbi Yosef, we're going to call him, and whatchamacallit. So we're saying, I asked him a question. I had a reason why I asked you this question, because like all people, I'm selfish, and I really asked you the question that I'm interested about myself. But I said, what is the thing that people come up to you and compliment you on, and it bothers you because you don't like that thing? I asked you that because I have things that when people come, and it's like, I don't. Okay. At any rate, so one of the things you said, daddy daycare.
What are you outing me with that?
you
People
told
made
me
the movie.
everything.
No, everything's okay. I'm
No,
laughing.
no. It's
Oh, no,
not
hold on.
anything against the
Look
people
at
who
me.
made Daddy
No,
Daycare.
look,
It's a fabulous film.
But my point to you was the thing I said was
Right.
really out of some Pixar movies and a few other great directors that
Right.
I've worked with, I would say 90% of what's on my IMDb.
Right.
I am
So it's
not,
nothing specific
please,
about Daddy Daycare.
There's nothing
No, but I
specific
wanna
about Daddy
make it clear.
Daycare. You just said, give me an example, and I gave you an example.
You don't feel good about your work. Maybe they felt good about it, and then maybe it was a fantastic. I heard it was.
No, I don't
fantastic.
ruin it. I say thank you to them.
Okay.
I don't. At
Right.
no point do I make them feel bad or why or anything.
Okay, but you said something to me profound.
What'd I say?
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you now. You said when somebody comes over to you and they praise you for Daddy Daycare, which you feel was a fantastic film, but you don't particularly like your work in it, or you don't feel.
No, I was great. The movie stunk.
Everybody else is so unprofessional.
No, it had moments of loveliness,
Okay.
and I enjoyed making it. But no, the whole
And they were
thing.
all fantastic people to work with.
No, they were.
Okay,
But
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, but
And Eddie Murphy is an absolute mensch.
he was to me.
I'm sure he was.
He was so great. And
He grew up around here on Long Island.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. At any rate, my point is, you say that people come up to you and they say they love this film, and you're like, in your mind, you're like,
Right.
well, that's the thing you like,
Right.
Okay. But you don't react that way. You react graciously.
Always.
And what you said to me was very interesting. You said, I don't know. I think to myself, how old were they when they saw it? Maybe they were 8 years old.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Meaning
Yeah.
to say, it doesn't necessarily have to have been such a great film. But for this person,
for an 8-year-old who saw it, yeah. Because
Okay.
I look back on movies that I loved when I was 8, and
And you
they're all
realize-
classics. No,
Oh.
I look back on ones when I was younger, and some of the things that I loved are
Doesn't-
really terrible.
doesn't hold up.
No, but I love them still.
Oh, you even love them now.
Yeah.
Comfort viewing.
Comfort viewing,
Okay.
yes.
So what I want to say to Moshe here is that sometimes we like things not because of the actual quality of the material, but because of the emotional significance that it holds for us.
Hmm.
So somebody who thinks that Daddy Daycare is like Citizen Kane,
Right.
maybe because of what it means for
What
him,
it means to them. And that's the
emotionally.
something, and that's also none of my business what it means to them. I just
Correct.
need to be gracious and talk to them and what picture, get to know them if I have time. Yeah, that's
So my theory here is that he knew who this guy was.
right.
He saw his classes. In his mind, whether it was conscious or not, he knew that that could be a stepping stone to get closer to the father he never
Yes.
knew. All of a sudden, oh, this guy's brilliant.
Right.
I got to watch all of his stuff.
Yes.
I don't know. That's just a theory. I just totally made that up. What do you think about that?
I think for me, it's very hit or miss because on the one hand, I've had a weird relationship when it comes to like all his work, like his far. And on the one hand, I'm like, I don't want to learn anything by him because like it's kind of a slap in my face in my mind.
Mhm.
On the other hand, I'm like, oh, he knows his stuff. I might as well. And it's weird for me because even my mother watches his Shirin,
Oh, really?
and yeah,
And your mother obviously knows that
and
he's married to.
yeah, no, my mother's the one who told me.
Oh, your mother is the one who told you.
Yeah.
Okay, Moshe, this is what I'm thinking here. Okay.
Mhm.
Really, like you said, you yourself told me that there's a possibility of drama if you reach out to this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like such an important relationship that you must have that it's worth the drama. You know, we have to be considerate of others. So, you know, we don't even know what it could do to your half sister. You know, so it's like she's an innocent party to all of this as well. So, so here's the deal. I think, and I could be completely wrong. You could tell me this is just completely off base. Your desire, this quest to meet this guy or reach out to this guy, to connect with this guy, I'm suggesting that maybe that's your desire to connect with your father, and you're kind of like rewriting it in a safer way that's a few layers removed from the danger zone. I don't know if it's so. That's first of all, is just to identify the fact that you still do yearn for your father, and that's a real thing.
Yeah. I think you're on the ball.
And that may not be possible because, he's a person of his own and he has his own free choice. And for whatever reasons, we don't know, he may not be capable. And you know what? The older that I get, the more I realize that a lot of behavior that I used to think of as like inexcusable, it's still not great behavior, but I can't really hate the person for it because usually they behave that way because of deep and grave emotional wounds of their own. And so I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good behavior. I'm just saying it's very hard for me to resent the person or hate the person. So I'm saying I don't know what his reason is. It's unnatural to not have a connection with your own children. So there has to be something pretty big, some hurt in his life that's big enough to make a person do something as unnatural as not having a relationship with his children. But what I'm saying is this: you have this yearning. Forget about the guy giving classes online. You need to have this connection. Your father may not be the one who's ready to provide it for you. I'm going to say something that's a little bit cheesy, but I believe it wholeheartedly, and it's easy for me to say because I had a close relationship with my father. Thank God. I was very, very fortunate. But here's something that I'll say, and if I'm off base, I apologize in advance. I have found with a lot of cycle breakers, meaning people who decide, here's where it ends. My parents didn't give me what they should have, but I'm going to be the one to give. I'm going to start a new cycle from me. I've seen a lot. And again, if this resonates, great. If it doesn't, that people in this position often end up becoming deeply spiritual. Specifically, their relationship with God is much more than an abstraction. It really, really does come to fill the emotional void of that father wound or that mother wound. And it's like I see for myself, people who had an absent parent. Either they're really awesome parents themselves, or they're awful. The ones who are really awesome, generally, they have a very personal relationship with God that is really like a father. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean like a father? Like, hey, Dad, give me $20 so I can go out for dinner with my friends. What I mean by that is really, what's a father? And I'm sitting with him. Yisrael is here. My son is here, and he's going to judge whether or not this is a true statement. A father is the guy that you call when there's something that you're dealing with in life, and not necessarily do you expect that he could get you out of it, because who knows if that's his wheelhouse. But I mean, a real father, archetypical father, that whatever it is you're going through, you can take it to him, and he's big enough. I'm saying emotionally big enough to be able to hold that for you and hold it with you. And just seeing, I mean, that's why I always tell fathers the most important thing for you to give to your children is your calming presence. That a father's role in a home is, a mother's role is to provide nurturing and warmth. Father's role is to provide strength. Strength doesn't mean discipline. Strength actually means self-discipline. That he needs to be in check. He needs to keep his own emotions in check, not to be hysterical or reactive, to be, but also conversely, the easy way out of not being hysterical is just to shut your emotions down and be one of these cold fathers who, shows zero feeling. But to be someone who's alive and has feelings, but who can hold space, someone who doesn't freak out, someone who's able to be that stabilizing presence. So it's like, that's what I would suggest to you, is like this yearning you're having right now is sort of like a thinly veiled quest for the father energy. And what I'm saying is, explore your relationship with God and see if you can find it there. And specifically, what to look for is that place where you go with the vicissitudes of life, life's challenges, life's ups and downs, and you feel that there's a non-judgmental, stabilizing, solid anchor. And to do that, I'm not trying to scare you, but do that and get pretty proficient at that before you get married. So you're ready to be a father coming right out of the gate. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
This sounds like it could be relevant to you.
Yeah, I think so. My big minor-ish gripe is that my family isn't that big on me going on a spiritual path, in which I told them, oh, like after college, let me go to college so that way I could get more spiritual, learn more, and probably get better before I go to marry. And
you're talking about your mother. Who's your family? Your mother and who? And
my mother. It's mostly just my mother and grandmother.
Listen,
my siblings have all left the house.
Listen, with all due respect to your mother, and I'm sure she's a tremendous woman, but part of becoming a man, and this is what it really is, it's like you didn't have a man to raise you into manhood. Now you're going to have to become a man. And part of that is to respectfully tell your mother this is what you need to do. And to tell her with respect and with gratitude, thank you for giving me everything that a mother can give. I don't fault you for not giving me what only a father can give, because that's only what a father can give. You're a mother. What I'm asking you is to understand that I have to go now on a quest to get what only a father can offer. This is how I think I have to do it.
I get it.
You're not rejecting her. You're thanking her for being a mother. But a mother is a mother, a father is a father. And in lieu of a biological father, an earthly father, this sounds like the quest that you need to go on. It also may be actually very relieving for your mother, because she may have a little bit of guilt about what she wasn't able to provide for you, raising you without a father. And let her know, in the same breath that you tell her you got to do what you got to do, tell her she was a fantastic mother, and you don't fault her for not being a father, because mothers are mothers and fathers are fathers. It may be relieving for her. I'm saying, ironically, that statement that you got to make anyway for your own manhood, I think may also bring her relief. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's not something you do overnight. It's not like a quick thing, but I think that's a direction.
What is a quick thing? Nothing, right? Nothing. It is spiritually and just in life that matters. Nothing's quick.
Especially the stuff that's lifelong stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of it is very challenging.
And even when you get it, you have to get it again.
Oh, by the way, yes. I said, there's a saying, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
I'm in AA, I'm sober, and this too shall pass. And I said to my sponsor, I go, this too shall come back again.
That's correct.
And he burst out laughing. He goes, why have I never heard that before? No one's ever said that to me. And it's simple. Sometimes the most simple things are the things that are not said.
But Rabbi Yosef, I want to tell you something. You're channeling Jewish wisdom here, because that is actually the source of this too shall pass is Gam Ze Ya'avor. And the story is the Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, he asked his wise advisor.
Right.
He said, give me something that'll make me laugh when I'm crying and cry when I'm laughing.
Right.
He gave him a ring, and on it said Gimel Zion Yud, which is Gam Ze Ya'avor. So it'll make you laugh when you're crying, but it'll also make you cry when you're laughing. Because yeah, even the good times, it's good. And it's not punitive. It's not to torture you. It's not like, oh, everything was going so well, and now I'm back in the garbage dump again. We go through necessary phases.
Necessary. And the key to getting through all of it, Number one
Yeah.
is be able to laugh at yourself. That's, to me, that's my key. If I can laugh at myself, if I give it up to God and I can laugh at myself, I find myself in a very comfortable space.
They say, I say they say like it's folk wisdom. It's actually, you can Google it. It's etymology. But humor and humility and human are all the same root.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
As well as humus.
Hummus?
No, not a hummus like the
What is humus?
Like if you ever do gardening, humus is dirt.
I don't garden, but I am familiar with dirt and gardens.
Soil. So the humus is dirt, earth.
Cultivating.
Right. So actually, biblically, man was made from the dirt. So actually in Hebrew, Adam is the human. Adama is earth. So human is from the earth.
Right.
Also the Greek root. Human and humus are the same etymological root. The idea is like this. You embrace we're dirt. We're not angels. We're not perfect. We're these lumps of clay. We're dirt. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not heartbreaking. It's not a tragedy.
Well, you always hear how small Earth is from the astronauts. And so when you think about, you're not even a pinhead in that picture. You're millions of pinheads below a pinhead. But it gives you perspective of your place. That's why I think it's very important to have some sort of purpose where you contribute. You contribute to life, the pain, the good, being of service, yes. And that is your constant reminder how lucky you are to be around.
You told me not profound. It's very profound.
I tend to go there, and sometimes on stage. I actually, it's one remote talent that I have that I'm really proud of, that I come up with these things that seem to make people feel good or better, or look at things a new way, humbly, whatever. And but that comes from being humble. Although, do you say you're humble when you're humble? That's like the thing, I'm very humble.
You can say.
You can?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because if you're truly humble, then you know that it's not your virtue. It's all God's.
It's all God.
So
yes.
then what's the problem? I can objectively say,
I'm
it's not
humble.
even me.
Not even
Don't
me.
give me credit, please. Don't give me credit.
By the way, when I write comedy, when I perform comedy, anything that I do, I don't know where it comes from. I feel almost like it's a gift that's channeling through me. That's really what it feels like when it's at its best. Like when I would film Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I would say things, never trying to be funny, but sometimes I would say things where, wow, where did that come from?
How much of it was improvisational?
The whole thing.
Oh, the whole thing.
Larry, excuse me a second here. Let me get some water. Larry writes an outline, and then we all act knowing what the scene's about.
Right.
And we make adjustments until we have the scene.
What was the outtake ratio?
Oh, very small.
Really?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the very first DVD set we put out, there were outtakes and commentary. He hated all of that. Because really, and I agree with him with this, what's in the show is what's supposed to be in the show. The outtakes, I know people enjoy those, but to me,
bloopers reel.
Yeah, we do have a bloopers reel at every rap party, but the bloopers reel is more for the crew and everyone there, sharing moments that we experience. Right. But yeah, so the show.
So you have an improv background.
Yes, I was in Second City.
You were in Second City.
Yes.
Okay. Who was? I mean,
around the time I was there, Mike Myers, Tim Meadows, Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, Amy Sedaris. There are others.
Okay. So,
and then also when I started, Dan Castellaneta, Richard Kind, Mike Haggerty, all these beautiful.
How long were you there?
Well, when I'm talking about the earlier days with Dan, I wasn't hired as an actor. I was working in the box office, but every night I go watch the show. And then every night I go out to dinner or like for an after show snack with Richard Kind and Dan Castellaneta. And I would just suck in whatever I could. I would just sit quietly, which is unusual for me, but I really was humble. Like, I don't know anything.
Right.
Look at Dan Castellaneta, who, by the way, if you don't know, is Homer Simpson. He taught me, two people taught me the most about improvisation. Dan there was a level of fearlessness with him. For example, there's a game you say, you freeze, and then you tag the person out and you continue in a new scene. Well, so many people will yell freeze when they have an idea, and then they run out and tap them, and it never quite works because the other person is not on your agenda.
Right.
Dan, I would watch him, would look at the wall or look at the floor and then just go freeze and go out, look at what he's looking at, and just start being a real character and talking and being the situation. And it's all discovered and it's all beautiful. I copied that exactly. That's how I would play. Switch, it's called. People call it freeze, what have you. And that's how I also, like on Curb Your Enthusiasm, I read the outlines very early on when Larry first writes them, and I don't look at them, think about them, anything. So when I show up on set and I'm about to do a scene, I don't even know what the scene's about. And I'll say to our director, Jeff Schaefer, I say, what am I doing? And he knows, he does that for me. And that makes me, just like Dan looking at the ground and then saying it, that's the same thing for me. Here's what the scene's about. Here's what your purpose is in the scene.
And you're just getting dropped in without an agenda.
And then within a minute, action, like literally. And so I'm there. I'm present with the moment. I've not come up with anything to prepare, you know?
It strikes me that this is a life skill.
Oh, by the way, if I can even put it in these terms, life is improvising from an outline. You make your plans, but they're not going to be your plans. So you have to adapt. You improvise around what you want to accomplish, what is happening, what you want in your relationships, any kind of relationships, what you want in the world. You have to adapt. That's really.
And if you try to control it.
That's what I was talking earlier about. You got to give it up to God. That's what the adapting is. It's like, I'm just going to trust. It's trusting, which is a key part of improv. It's just trusting. And so I trust. There you go.
What's the number one rule in improv? What's the number one what's the worst thing that it can do when you're improvising? The worst thing a person can do that kills a scene?
Deny.
Let's talk about that as a life skill.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you talk about that more as a life skill.
I've thought about this.
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, Moshe's still here. No, I don't have anything more for Moshe. That was it.
I think everything that you guys just said was
probably very. Yeah, Moshe, just listen to this. This is all okay. No, I don't have more for him.
And I had never had anything for Moshe, except I was listening to the rabbi talk to him. He's a very sweet young man.
Moshe, will you send us an invitation to the wedding, please?
Yeah, I won't be there, but maybe the rabbi will. All right, yeah, please do, pal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling in. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much, Rebbe. Thank you very much, Rebbe Yossi.
He called you Reb Yossi.
Oh, that's
he
funny.
Yiddishized it.
He Yiddishized
Not even
it.
Yosef. He called it Yossi. Okay.
Yossel. Yossel's
the diminutive.
Yeah.
So you're going through life.
Yeah.
God is your improv partner.
Yes.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
But you don't know where it's going, so you're trying to control it. And he's saying, he says to you, I don't know, we're gardening right now. And he's like, no, we're not. We're in a race car.
Oh, see, but that's what people do when they try controlling things in life.
Because they have a good line.
So I have been in scenes and watched scenes where someone will deny, and the minute you deny, now there's only one way to do it. There's another way of denying that works. And that is, there's a logical path to absurdism. Not that you're denying the realities. There's a logical path to absurdism, and that means you're going to do the scene in a different way, not denying what the person told you, but the person that you are, the character that you are, interprets it a certain way. But there is no. No is a word that can't
shut it down. You
can't
shut
say
it down.
no.
You can't say no.
Yeah.
So God presents you a situation in life.
Yeah.
Wasn't what you prepared for.
No.
You had some great lines ready.
Yes.
If he would have gone in the direction that you knew that
if you do that, it goes against improvising. That's so brilliant. Look at you. I'm so happy to be here. God is your improv partner, and you cannot prepare. You just have to be in the moment.
You have an outline.
Yeah, you have an outline. Outline's almost hope.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You do what you can. Well, hope is a very, I hope you're feeling well. And the reason that works is I have no control. Right. So hope is a great non-control word, because when people say, I hope we can do this, well, you got to still put your best effort in. Sitting back and hoping is not going to work. I almost find that in my spirituality with God, I have to do the best I can with the information I've been given,
right,
and do the best I can, and then improvise. Yeah.
You have to have a plan.
Yeah.
You can't not have a plan.
No, it's just you don't walk up like Larry David writes an outline.
Right.
But we adjust off it.
Be ready to let go when you see that it's taking on its own.
Always.
Let it go.
Let it go. That's it. But that's life. We hold on to things, want to control.
By the way, if Larry's the one writing the outline.
He always is. He's the most brilliant.
He could easily say, God, that's not what I had in mind. Why are you going that direction? That's not what I had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And to allow the scene to be.
But if I may, there are some people who are so far off track that he has to pull them back in and go, look,
names.
This is what it's about. The journey is not important.
I don't want to hear any names, but what type of person really goes off like?
All right, I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, the very successful actors are the ones who don't quite understand what's expected.
What do they think? What do they think of their?
They think first off that they have to try and act funny or act silly or do
broad
something.
Comedy.
They make it broad, and that has to be control. I'll give you a story, and I'm not saying who.
No names.
Okay. So someone very famous actor did our show.
Okay.
And we're watching what he's doing, and tone-wise, it is so wrong. I mean, he's actually skipping in the scene. Like everything about it is him like, I'm going to juggle pumpkins with, it just made no sense.
Right.
So Larry, myself, and a guy named Larry Charles, brilliant comedic mind, we're talking about it. Like, what are we going to do? What are you going to do? And we're trying to figure it out. And I said, I get it. They said, what? I go, his children love the show. He even said he's doing it because of them. He's never seen our show.
Oh.
Never seen our show. And we got him, but about a year later, I see this person at a party, and I introduce myself, and there's a group of people around. And he says, your boss doesn't like it when people are funnier than him. And that took a lot of self-control, not telling him what I really...
Which is certainly not the case. And you're saying you've seen
No, it's
Larry
not the case. Larry is generous, no problem. If you stay within the outline, you can adapt. Right. But this is what we're trying to do here. Right. But how we get there is not set in stone. Right. There are new discoveries every take.
So this guy says, your boss doesn't like people to outshine him. He doesn't want...
which is a crock.
Okay.
Complete crock.
And you set him. You didn't set him straight.
I did say. I did say that's not how I see it, and I left it at that.
Right.
Because I could have really lost.
But you didn't try
time.
to give him notes and explain to him why he was getting it so wrong.
No, not worth it.
Not worth it.
In his head, he created a story that Larry David doesn't want him to be funny.
Yeah.
So there's no. When people are set in whatever it is, and we have that a lot now with people polarizing differences. The truth is, all you can do is accept what they're saying. You can disagree with it, but you're not going to convince them to think otherwise. Right. So this guy, There's nothing I can say to him that's going to make him go,
No, it's done.
you know what? I looked at this wrong the whole time. You know what I mean? So I've learned that you cannot convince, you cannot control, you can just sort of be,
You can say your truth, and that's about it.
That's about it. You can say nothing else. Yeah.
Who was your other Rebbe of? You said Dan was your Dan
Oh,
Castellano?
and a guy named Mike Haggerty. And what I learned from him was economy. He would literally be off stage, there'd be a scene improvising. He would come in and say 2 lines that were funny, perfect for that moment, and he'd leave. Like he served his purpose and got out. I learned a lot from him, this guy, Mike Haggerty. The simplicity of it all and the economy. Yeah.
Did he articulate it that way? Or
He just did it. That's the thing also. If you really want to learn, you can learn from people saying things you don't do that. If I'm talking to a young comedian or any comedian who's a friend of mine who asks me a question, sure. But the best thing in the world for when I learn is I certainly have curious questions of different people.
Right.
But in general, I just watch it happen.
Study them.
Study it.
So less is more. And how is that for a life lesson?
That is the best life lesson. My God. If you look at every aspect from your life, less is more. Less means Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay.
Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Mm-hmm.
Less is more. Form follows function.
Yeah.
What do you need? And now we're living in a world that's a lot of function following form. And that takes away simplicity. That makes things confusing. It's like, this is a great tool.
I see you're a real Chicagoan because I'm also brainwashed that the Frank Lloyd Wright cultural influence beyond architecture.
Right.
And I noticed that. Well, I'm just editorializing.
But
the form follows function is his whole thing. You don't put in a column for display. If it needs a column structurally, you put it.
But that's yes.
Okay. So anyways, I think that's a very Chicago.
Yeah. So simplicity is the ultimate. So I aspire to all of that. I aspire right now in my life. I'm 64. I'm starting the big Prune. I'm selling all sorts of stuff, baseball cards, comics that I treasured, but don't currently bring me joy. They're just chaos. I collect record albums. Okay. And the guy who worked in the record.
By the way, I have a Velvet Underground.
Berry Sisters?
No, Velvet Underground with the banana nut.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, but that's still a great album to get.
With a banana not peeled, I think it's like the most expensive.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Anyhow, he said to me, I see people buy the albums, and I'm like, you're not going to listen to them. And I go, so you're buying them for the widow. Because that's where it ultimately goes.
Estate sale.
The estate sale. And they're gone
Salvation
for
Army.
Nickels on the dollar, And so I want to have what I need, what brings me joy, what really brings me joy. And if it's just something for the purpose of collecting or whatever, see you later.
So you're in the minimalist phase.
I'm very much so. It's a constant thing, because I've already started it a few years back, but I'm really working at that. And, and being, so I work at that. I aspire. That's the best word. That's also giving it up to God. I aspire to do this, but
in the less is more vein, I'll tell you, like for me, where that shows up a lot is you see this a lot with interpersonal relationships. People talk a lot more than they need to talk.
Yeah, that's a lesson that I'm learning all the time.
Talking
especially
yourself.
with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I have learned, she has taught me so many beautiful things, but one is less is more. I realize that, and we were talking about this last night, that I told her something and then I stopped myself from adding on to it because the information that she needed had already been released.
Right.
And I have done that to a fault, as they say, over the years. And she has helped me get to a point of stoicism, and my girlfriend have taught me to be quieter.
You know where I think it comes from, that impulse to over-explain?
Oh, yeah, and that basically, the more you over-explain, the more you lose your ground.
Yeah, you weaken your position.
You weaken your position, even if what you're saying is profound.
Yeah.
You can't. What's going on? Bingity, bangity, boongada, bongada. Don't add.
I mean, that's the number one rule in business negotiations. The one who talks more is going to lose.
Always. And also let them respond. Give people space to respond.
Yes. Okay. Okay, excellent. Hello.
Hi, Rabbi Shais. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Hi. I have like a half-formed question.
Oh, I know this is.
and
Am I allowed to
about
say who it is? It's my friend Leo.
Oh, your friend. Oh, Leo.
You said
and
it
I
was
heard
my friend. I
Leo.
was listening.
Okay. Leo, the other Leo that we all know, is an acquaintance of mine. We're not friends.
Leo Biscaglia.
Well, no, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
yeah. So when you said that, I thought, there's no way Leonardo DiCaprio is calling on this show.
Well, you mentioned Da Vinci earlier.
Yeah,
Leonardo da Vinci is calling.
Yeah. So
sorry to disappoint. You know, it's funny when you talked about, by the way, aside, you said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That is actually my email tagline by Da Vinci, which is kind of funny.
Didn't you go to like Italy and see like Da Vinci stuff? Like for your art school program?
Oh, me? Yeah. I went to Venice for the Venice Biennale, which is like a big art, essentially conference there. It's amazing. All the countries sponsor different pavilions.
Right.
It's amazing. It runs like 6 months every 2 years. All right. So I have a question for Jeff about your laugh. It's
yes,
like
sir.
a half-formed question.
Yes.
All right. So you have like a world famous laugh.
Did you know that? Is that true?
A good laugh.
My laugh can give me a way off, and then people imitate my laugh.
Really?
Yeah, I go from this big booming laugh to also I have a giggle. But they're very, and generally when I do it, other people laugh at me laughing. But please go on with your half-formed question.
That is actually part of my question. So a good laugh makes other people laugh.
But sharing a laugh is the greatest thing on earth.
You're
sharing a laugh. Meaning when
sharing
the laugh, that when your laugh causes someone else to laugh.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But here's what's like, I was like thinking about this. I'm getting to a question. It was kind of a wind up here. Like when someone laughs, when someone else is laughing, they're not laughing at their laugh, they're laughing with their laugh.
Yes.
But a laugh alone usually doesn't make you laugh. You kind of need to have like a spark of humor. So a laugh is both like a reaction to humor, but also like an amplification of humor. And like, have you ruminated on your laugh, or would being like too reflective and analytical about it like ruin?
All right, I'm gonna.
Have you trained your laugh?
Okay. The answer is absolutely not. There is no self-reflection on my laugh. What I just shared earlier is about as deep as I want to go. My comedy, I don't do a lot of self-reflection on. I go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this was in LA number of years ago, and there was a guy who produced a comedy show, and all he wanted to do at dinner, this I'm telling you, was analyze comedy, my comedy, and he would just going on and on. And this is no exaggeration. When we were done and I went to my car, at that moment and for the foreseeable future, I was no longer funny. I was no longer funny. It was all in the head stuff, too many things to think about. I don't like analyzing it. And what brought me out of it, there was a book called Letters from a Nut, and then more Letters from a Nut.
Letters from a Nut. That was Father Guido Sarducci.
No, this is Jerry Seinfeld.
That was
Jerry Seinfeld, but he didn't write it. Barry Martyr is the guy who wrote it. Anyhow, I started reading it, and I just started bursting laughing. And the more I laughed and the more I read, I'm funny again. But I lost it. So
How long do you lose it for? A couple hours?
No. This was a good week, into 2 weeks even. And it was very frustrating and concerning.
And did you know how you lost it? You knew what?
Yeah, there was too much analyzation. I don't want to be in the head and overthink and Thinking can be the enemy sometimes. Certainly, you want to think about things, but I don't want to analyze my comedy.
So you did not analyze the laugh.
Did not, will
you
not.
Won't.
No.
Like Freddie Mercury wouldn't take voice lessons.
Is that the truth?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not taking comedy. I'm not taking laugh lessons.
He was untrained.
I'm an untrained laugher.
He said he was afraid that if he would take voice lessons, he would.
Well, by the way, I understand that because it puts too much in your. Yeah, you don't want that. You want to go with what is. And so my laughter, I have never, ever analyzed it, and I will never analyze it.
Now that Leo
except for saying that when I laugh, I am really filled with joy, and I do feel it's contagious.
It is extremely contagious. It's like one of the most contagious laughs of like all the. There's like compilations because obviously I'm a big Curb fan, and there's compilations of like
highlights
interviews where you all have like talked. Like there's one where Larry talks about the NBA, and he's like, if you dribble with the left hand, and it's funny, but it's you're laughing at it. That is.
That's one of my favorite things
funny.
That Larry said to me one time. Larry said to me, I think we used it in an episode. A lot of times our personal things. He said to me one time, personally us, I don't remember where we were. He said, I could have been a great NBA basketball player. I could have dribbled. I'm a good dribbler. I worked on and he was being so sincere.
Really?
And I said, where would you dribble? He says, in my house. I go, how did that work out? Larry, stop your dribbling. Enough with the dribbling, Larry. And he does his mom so beautifully. And that he knows that kills me. So when that came up on the panel, I, of course, lost it because when Larry does his mother's voice in terms of the adversity that he felt with her that is so Jewish and so clear, so funny. As a matter of fact, we were filming one season. It was about a TV show Larry had created, a fake one called Young Larry, and so they recreated, which they literally did, his boyhood apartment from Brooklyn, okay? And he was walking around. I'm with him. He sees it first and goes, oh my God, because it was it, okay? And then he picked up the phone, and I gave him some scenario with his mother. He started having he started imitating his mother on the phone in the apartment. Larry receives a call that she's not happy with. Larry yelled. I fell over. It just, certain things humor-wise, that is one, So, yeah. So I don't think about it to answer your question. Your son is very urgent with it's a caller show.
Yeah.
Let's get the callers in.
Me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Where was he with the first young kid? You were so damn patient with that kid. It was beautiful. But I also thought I needed to take my focal in.
Yeah. I tend to spread out and
there's so much thoughtfulness
contains me.
Yeah, but there's so much thoughtfulness in what you say.
On that note, I'm gonna hang up and let some other caller call in.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
A good friend of
mine. I like him. He's smart.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an art dealer.
No, so as I'm observing you talking to the first young fella, to me, in my world, if he's talking to me and I know him, whatever, I have wrapped that up in, and not because I don't like him, not because I'm not appreciating, but I'm like maybe 5 minutes on the long side in terms of helping him. You looked at it from every gosh darn angle and were so true. I wasn't prepared for that.
When people call in, I mean, by the way, I do this I do this. Why do I do this? I do this because I want to model a certain way of reflecting on life. I feel that it's something that is transferable to a certain extent. I don't do this so people should feel they need me. I do it to show how it's done.
But that's what you did.
A skill.
You yes.
Hopefully, people listening.
But your level of patience, I could not believe you took everything he said obviously very seriously, which I did too.
Yeah.
But I'm not a rabbi. You know what I mean? For purposes, and also there is an economy about being a comedian. So I watched you take that, and you also gave these beautiful opinions that I wouldn't have thought of. I mean, having God replace the relationship with your
Can I tell you
father,
something?
that's the only choice you have,
Okay.
and I would have never thought of
Okay,
that.
but I want to tell you something. A lot of what I do when I'm speaking to someone is very akin to, this might sound like I'm being pretentious, like I'm forcing this metaphor, but it is akin to improvisation. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
Because I'm picking up on what they're giving me, not just what they're saying.
right.
There's a lot of unspoken
Yes.
messages.
Yes.
A lot of it is energetic.
And I think with who you are and your background, you are, I don't know, whatever, but you are someone who can observe that and see that I can't. I mean, I just know when someone's lying, especially addicts. You know, when I see people that I love and they're telling me they're sober and I know they're not.
Right.
And by the way, my sobriety is not only about alcohol and marijuana, it's about food. I'm compulsively out of control there. So, but when I watch somebody in that world, I just go, oh, they are just not being truthful. But the way you picked up every nuance of what that guy was
But they're giving it to you.
No, but I don't see that. So if
I bet
I
you
almost
could.
pretend, well,
I bet you could.
with experience.
Yeah.
Okay,
With a little practice.
you've done a lot of experience. I wouldn't say a little practice. I think, yes.
Yeah. Are you on speaker right now? If you're going to talk, you have to be on mic. Oh, you're on mic. Okay, good. No,
No,
I
no.
don't hear you in the headphones.
I see you. His son has a very similar beard, a little shorter.
He has time to catch up. Okay, or you could just come on over and grab my mic. Okay. I'm gonna fix it
Okay.
properly. Okay, do we have a caller? Yeah, we do. Okay, bring up the caller.
Our next caller is Baruch.
Okay, hello, Baruch. Hello. Hello.
Hi, thank you.
You're live on the air.
Not entirely sure where to start because it's a massive backstory and years of trauma that have kind of brought this on. But my
Okay.
question is regarding my family, my kids, my wife who's a recovering addict. So and the briefest backstory I can give is I grew up the grandson of a Holocaust survivor, so we weren't fully observant, but we always went to Chabad growing up. Family not Chabadnik in any way, but they were always there to help. In high school, I really connected more strongly after moving to Florida with Judaism and Torah. I put a yarmulke on and started my path towards an observant lifestyle. And a couple years after that, still in high school, I met who was going to be my wife, but she didn't even know that she was Jewish when we met.
Wow.
We proved it halakhically, and we got married. Her family struggles with addiction, and they didn't really have much religion in the house. 4 generations of intermarriage, so very different childhoods and upbringings. We then experienced loads of different trauma. I have a back injury since I'm 10. Baruch Hashem, our first other daughter was full term and amazing. We then had a couple years later an ectopic pregnancy. And then about 3 years after that, our son, Kananahar, is 6 now. He was born 3 months premature, spent 8 months in the NICU, and is still recovering. Anyway, we were, for a very short period, from, and we even learned as a couple right after getting married in Yerushalayim, in yeshiva, and she went to seminary. And then when we came
Just
back,
because
like, all the
I just
trauma
want to
started
translate it.
happening.
You're saying you became religious for a while, more orthodox, more observant.
Correct.
Okay, but
And
that was for how long?
so, um, well, I mean, probably 2 years because we were observant for a bit before the marriage, and there was always this like I was always on the path of her, and she
Yeah.
was kind of on the path, but had a lot more ways to go because she didn't have that upbringing that I did.
Right, you had more background. So you're saying you at some
Right.
point both of you kind of stopped. You kind of let go of some of the observance.
I think it became I never lost that desire too, but it's I wrote that it was more of like when we went through all the trauma,
Yeah.
I fell back on my love of Torah, my love of Hashem, my Jewish upbringing, Jewish humor, right, was always the what salvation there. She fell back on her upbringing, which is addiction and self-coping and depression. And so I heard someone say one time where it's like, so goes the wife, so goes the household, right? So
Sure, yeah.
I couldn't, and then she went and after my son finally came home from the hospital, we kind of shifted focus on my wife, and she went away to rehab for a bit. So keeping kosher and keeping Shabbos, it hasn't been a part of our lives, even though the desire is always there for me. And the problem is I still think that that's what would help our family most, is that, separation from the electronics, focus on the kids,
Right.
the difficult part then is I'm kind of the driving force in that,
Yeah.
but I have this major back injury and I can't walk to shul. If I lived next to the shul, I wouldn't be able to walk to the shul.
Yeah. Let me unpack some of this because there's a lot of this.
That was the short version, Rabbi.
Yeah. By the way, I want you to know that I'm fully aware of the fact that your full story is endlessly more complex, but I also want you to know that um, you can believe it or not, but it's sort of like in one cell from a body is the DNA is the code for all the cells in the body. And after a while of hearing people's stories and hearing so many stories, you can identify that code pretty quickly. So, there's a lot that you didn't tell me, but I just want you to know that on a certain level, I heard. Obviously, I don't know everything that happened, but on a basic level, I get the story. I get the story, and it's a heavy story. You've been through a lot. Both of you have been through a lot as individuals and as a couple. Um, so let's talk a little bit about this, because I think a lot of some of the references you made are, I'll call it inside baseball, meaning not necessarily would everybody relate to this whole thing. So I want to kind of translate it. You have a couple here, one from traditional but not necessarily so observant Jewish background. Grandparents are Holocaust survivors. Um, the wife is not at all from a Jewish upbringing. They both become Orthodox for a time. They go through a lot of trauma. I'm saying this super, super like reduced and simplified, but like go through a lot of real legitimate trauma. And let's just say it very frankly, ritual becomes deprioritized because it's like, I'm fighting for my life over here. I don't have time to worry about milk and meat. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to like just survive. And I don't even know, maybe your wife has even said it that way. Like I wish I had the luxury to like pursue this deeper meaning, but I'm like just literally trying to function. So, and can I tell you something? As a rabbi who is supposedly supposed to say that everyone should be, observant, but I'm going to tell you something. If she indeed has ever said that, I don't know if she has, but it's a legitimate, it's a legitimate argument. Like, see, here's the ironic thing. You're right that ritual and observance and like Shabbos, for instance, you mentioned Shabbos. you're right that it would be very healing for your family. At the same time, sometimes you have to be strong enough to even swallow the medicine. And if you give a person who's too weak, you give him too much medicine or medicine he's not ready for, he's not going to heal from it. You could actually hurt him. You follow what I'm saying here as far as like this paradox? Like on one hand, you're right. Like this stuff would be deeply healing. And if your wife is in recovery, I'm sure in some form or another, she's spiritual, some type of higher power. I mean, I would assume, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just not necessarily Jewish ritual that is the form that it takes. So here's the thing. I believe that it would be deeply healing for her, for your family, to be more observant. Of course, I believe that. I mean, that's what I believe. I live this way because I believe this. At the same time, you know the expression. I'll cite the Talmudic dictum in the original Hebrew: "Tefasta meruba le tefasta." When you've grabbed too much, you've grabbed nothing. There's a line: progress, not perfection.
Progress, not perfection. Yeah.
I'm wondering if, you've tasted what it's like to be more observant, and that's like where the bar is set for you. And like you're frustrated, you're not there, and you like know the gifts of it, but it's like, is it possible that in your idealizing where you could be, the level that you've been at, you've actually even been at that level, maybe you're missing some of the tiny little wins that are already happening. Like I would, let me ask you this. I would guess that there's some stuff that your wife is already doing, even in her quote unquote non-observant status right now, where she is connecting and there is something spiritual there. And it may not be like the ultimate highest level or whatever, but there's something there. Were you listening to the previous caller?
Absolutely. Yes. And
do you remember what Leo said about a laugh?
Yeah.
He said that a laugh is funny, but only if it's amplifying something that was funny. You don't just take a laugh track and, laugh at that. Mm-hmm. But if there was something that was already kind of funny, and then you have a good laugh after, that can make it super funny, right? It amplifies it. I want you to be the laugh track for your wife's spiritual progress. When anything, even the tiniest win, and you need to celebrate it instead of thinking where you could be. Does this make sense, what I'm saying?
It does, and I agree. I guess,
but
if it was the two of us, in my mind, there's no issues. Her journey is going to take as long as the journey it is.
But the kids.
But the kids. And so our daughter goes to a yeshiva here in Florida. Our son, he doesn't have the wherewithal anyway to understand. But my daughter, I'm concerned about. She's around, FFB's constantly. I know that's another inside baseball. Sorry, but she's surrounded by that constantly, and she wants to open up and with her friends, but then gets criticized and judged. So we kind of had discussions of like, listen, my me and my daughter, we're going to observe the best way that we can, knowing that our son is going to go and pick up every single electronic that he possibly can, and mommy or my wife is going to do whatever she wants to do. And the fact that there isn't I can do that. I'll do me, you guys do you.
Were you listening before you called in? Were you listening to when Jeff and I were talking about improv?
Yeah.
You hear that thing about like sometimes a scene goes in a direction, like your improv partner takes you in a direction you weren't really planning on. You don't have a funny line for that, And the worst thing you can do is be like, hold on, stop. That's not what I was prepared for. Right? You roll with it. You roll with it. I'm telling you, the healthiest thing, like listen, I clearly am not unbiased in this matter. I want every Jew to have as much Torah and do as many mitzvahs as they possibly can and more. I'm just telling you, I think the path to that is being a good improv partner, meaning whatever's happening, that's what you got to roll with. That's the reality. At the end of the day, that's what God is giving you to work with. Like you want to be a role model for both of your kids, right? How many kids do you have? You mentioned the daughter and the son. The son was the one who was in the NICU.
Yeah, just
2 kids. Okay, the daughter and you are more observant. Your son is, like you said, picking up all the electronics on Shabbos. What I'm saying is that's what he's giving you. That's what you got to work off of. Like you can't like Jeff and I were saying, you can't run around denying. It's not funny in improv, and it's not spiritually successful in life. Roll with what you've got.
But by the way, what he was saying when he was listing the realities, I thought that was beautiful, and he's doing the best he can for he and his daughter.
Yeah.
Whereas he doesn't know where his wife's going to be. Right. He does know his son can't focus and is going to be things, but that's what is.
That's what is.
Yeah. And I thought that when you were saying that, I thought, oh, he's got it down.
You were saying, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah.
This guy's doing.
I thought, he's got it down. He sees the big picture.
We were impressed. We thought that this is all. This is Plan A.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that. I guess it's just because I'm here every single day and I'm seeing our daughter kind of be discouraged. She's not seeing the joys of life and essence of Judaism.
But that's what I'm telling
life,
you.
Right? So
the lack of joy is coming from the frustration. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, that when you're disappointed because the people around you, the people closest to you, are not in lockstep with you, and that's kind of like disruptive. So that inner frustration, that's what's sucking the joy out of it. Like I promise you, your daughter will be so much more alive and happy, and if you just roll with things, just roll with it. Just roll and master that skill of just keeping things positive. And even when you can't get the reaction that you were banking on, that people do what they do, but that's the whole lesson you're going to be able to give to your daughter. Listen. At the end of the day, you want to do mitzvahs because you believe in God. And if you believe in God, you believe that He knows what He's doing. So for whatever reason, He decided to put you in this situation, and your daughter, not just you, your daughter also, and your wife and your son. But what I'm saying is, you're worried about your daughter. This is the spiritual clinic that apparently God Almighty has signed her up for. It's to see how a Jewish life can be joyous and happy while other people around you are doing their thing. And it doesn't have to be heavy-handed. To the contrary, I promise you, God knows what He's doing. Roll with the situation as it was given to you. And that's going to be the best lesson that she needs to learn. I know you would have preferred a different situation. But, I have a lot of situations also I would have preferred for my life. And God had different plans. And at the end of the day, we have to believe that as much as we want to serve God, He wants us to serve Him too. And He's not. Sometimes we think, God, are you crazy? Why are you making it so hard for me to serve you? You're messing it up. And He says to you, no, this is the service I want.
Yeah.
This is the service.
And that's why it's so important just to give it up to God. Give it up. Give it up. And the joy thing.
That was being hurt since I'm 10. I just connect to what you said, and I do believe in that so much, because being hurt since I'm 10, one of the most difficult things, anything standing stationary for too long or anything like that, really hurts. So davening really hurts my back. So trying to dive
Physical
in with
pain.
kavana, like it's near impossible.
Yeah.
So I connect with that because I've always, hey, you want me to
Let me just
learn
explain this to
Torah
everyone
and you
else
want
so
me
that
to,
everyone who's listening can follow this. You've lived with serious chronic physical pain since you're a child.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've had to learn to roll with reality. You learned that with your back, with your physical pain, with your chronic pain. Yes?
Yeah, and I prized myself on, I used to joke all the time, roll with the punches, bob and weave when you have to. And what kind of, I think, in many ways reduced my patience, because that was the whole experience with my son, and then rolling straight into the battles with the recovery for my wife. So
You got a couple punches
lot of
right in a
that-
row that sometimes
yeah,
can be very difficult to come back from. And it takes time. But listen, be patient with yourself. You will come back from it. And the skill that you learned since you were a kid because of your chronic pain, you're going to learn how to use that in being a father. You're going to learn how to use that in being a husband. You're going to use it in all the areas of your life. Like Jeff and I were saying before, like, you learn the lesson, you get it, and then it's like, then you have to get it all over again because there's a new area. There's a new test. You're being tested, my friend. But you passed the test on one level. Now you have to pass it on the next level. And the answer is the same answer.
Mhm.
The answer is what you've known since you were a kid. It's just really hard when it involves other people. It's almost like easier to deal with chronic physical pain than it is to deal with emotional pain in relationships. That's the toughest thing. That's so it's like easier to deal with addiction than codependence.
I, having been part of both,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's easier, but I'd say equally as difficult. The challenges are different, but equally difficult.
Yeah, so this is, I'm going to use a little recovery lingo because, you say you're familiar with that, but this is you need a little, some Al-Anon stuff over
Oh,
here.
God,
Yeah.
yes. That's another thing my partner has turned me on to, Al-Anon, because I deal with stuff with one of my sons in general, but one of my sons. I've got to have boundaries, and I need to have boundaries with my partner and not have her be responsible or me look to this or that. It's been great lessons, Al-Anon. That's a great program.
Amazing program, yeah. That's a friends and family of alcoholics, yeah.
Mhm.
My best favorite Al-Anon story. I know a lady who went to an Al-Anon meeting, and she I don't know, she'd been going for a few weeks, few months. She was fairly new, but she'd already been going for a while. She goes to an Al-Anon meeting. And there's some lady there who was like fresh, green, first meeting, and she walks up to some other lady and she says, "Are you the one in charge?" And the other lady says, "Oh no, I'm not in charge."
Yeah.
You go into Al-Anon meetings. Are you the one in charge?
No. I help. I help any way I can.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. I've never heard that.
Yeah, it was a real story. Somebody told it to me.
Well, now I know it, and I can quote it from you.
You don't even have to quote it. You can just incorporate.
No, I like it quoting. It's very impressive
no
that I'm
problem.
quoting you.
Okay, if it
Okay.
increases your status, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, Baruch, listen, you got your road ahead of you. It's a familiar lesson. It's 2.0. It's the next level. And
If I could say one thing,
please.
please don't let it sink you. Please don't let it sink you. This is all what God's given you. Don't let it sink you. That's all. It's what is. Look at me.
You're doing great.
Okay, thanks. I don't want to give too much, but I'm
I told
going off what
it
you
is improv.
said.
No, you're going off what I said and what he said and
Right.
what the room is saying.
Yes, I'm
You're not
present.
saying
And I feel for him because you said something that his daughter might be picking up what he's throwing out, which is dissatisfaction, whatever it is. And it's his worst fear that she will feel that. So that's why I'm saying don't let it get you and have as much joy as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for calling in, and I wish you much blessings.
Sei gesund.
Sei gesund, like my
Yeah.
friend Rabbi Yosef says.
Thank
Sei
you.
gesund. Be well.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. These are serious people.
No, it is. And by the way, these are all such human, real problems. But you know what's beautiful about it? He's on there, and I guarantee so many of people watching I found things that I understood from that and I learned from. But someone gets something out of every one of these human stories, these human, hey, look, so many people, going back to the first caller, so many people have a relationship with a father that's narcissistic and doesn't give you don't have much of a relationship because of that. There's all different versions of it. And I feel for him that no one will tell him the story, whatever that story is.
There's a story, yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't need that story. He's got to move. He's lived life so far.
Yeah.
He's got to move on and live the rest of his life without the story and go with what God's story is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating stuff.
People are fascinating.
Yeah.
People are fascinating.
What you're doing goes against my nature, though.
What?
It's like, I told you.
Being so
bingity,
patient?
bingity. Thanks for calling. That's our difference. Me, I'm like, you know what I'll do? I'll think, I get to the point. No, what's your point?
So,
Tell me the point.
Let me tell you something. I can also be very impatient.
Right.
If people come up to me, see, here's the thing. You were saying people come up to you. I'm jealous of you because I felt a little bit jealous because you said everyone comes up to you and you're gracious to them.
Yes.
When people come up to me, I'm sometimes not gracious and I feel bad about it.
Right.
I feel bad about it. But the reason it's not an excuse because I wish I were gracious to everyone who comes up to me. But a lot of times they want something from me. What do they want from me? They want to dump. I shouldn't say that. That's a loaded word.
But I know what you're saying. You're saying they want to give you what these people are giving you.
I'm not always in that mode. And if I'm not in that mode, see, in this show, I'm in that mode. So someone calls, I'm not going to be like, what are you calling? Why are you calling me?
I understand that, and I don't envy.
But if people blindside me and they try to, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
But
Why are you asking
I've
me?
developed skills if someone does that to me, which is few and far between, but it does happen where they have a story and it's not going anywhere and it's asking too much of me. I know how to get out of that. But in general, they just want to tell me what I mean to them and they want to take a picture. That's generally. And how can I not do that with graciousness?
Yeah.
We'll switch places for a week.
Yeah, we should walk around and maybe we should take it on the road. Yisrael, are there more callers? You have another caller? Okay. Just keep rolling them. Okay. By the way, Yisrael, can you give me another Diet Coke whenever is convenient, sir?
I'm good with my water.
Your room temperature water.
Yeah.
Okay, hello? Hello? I don't hear the caller.
This is Tachelet. Is that who you're?
Yes, you are live. I hear you. You are live.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I was expecting to hear my name. Thank you so much. Shalom,
Yes.
shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Can you say her name again? I love your name.
Tachelet. I picked it myself.
I like it.
You know, the color of the priestly hem.
It's also the color of the door here at the SoulWords House. That blue
Right,
door.
yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been told it's the color of God's throne. I'm delighted to talk to you both.
Blue
and see
sapphire.
this side of you, Jeff.
Yes.
And I am a Jew from Kansas, so hopefully that's comforting too. And I lived in Chicago.
Great. Okay.
Rabbi, I really appreciate you talking about sensitive souls. And maybe you can give me some guidance.
Okay.
You talk so much about sensitive souls. Am I talking too loudly?
No, you're talking perfect.
Okay. I am one of those sensitive souls. And I feel
He's so loud. I'm sorry. I sorry to interrupt, but you are just with the cans between the popping them open. So I wonder if everybody knows when they hear that. It's a lot of can activity.
No.
Nothing else. All right, go
So
ahead.
it's clear.
I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Okay, you're
I thought
sensitive
there was an
souls.
explosion happening in the
No,
studio.
you're just dropping a can. You just dropped a can. Yeah.
Okay.
Sensitive souls.
So I am a sensitive soul. I feel like my relationship with God enables me to hear his voice as the constant sound in my head. And it is powerful and beautiful. And I hear it in silence and solitude. Being with people is a tremendous distraction. But also when I'm with people, I don't hear his voice. I hear their internal state. I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm involved with somebody right now, and I feel like literally God has given me love for this person, but I cannot experience myself in the relationship because all I feel is them.
Yeah.
And when we're separate, then I go to God to ask him what to do. But I have no idea how to manage a relationship because I have no idea how to bring this self that I experience so beautifully in silence and solitude into relationship with other people.
I have a question. What's the term? Neurodivergent?
Neurodivergent, yeah.
Yeah, where you feel you're tapped in. My partner is that. And so sometimes she goes so deep into someone else and she ends up picking up all their pain and absorbing all of it.
Right.
And there's also a level of being an empath too.
Yes, having very permeable emotional boundaries.
Yeah, I think what you have, by the way, is actually beautiful. Believe it or not,
it's a gift.
It's a gift.
Thank you.
But you have to learn how to use it.
It's a gift, but knowing how to use it. I mean, I have an aspect. Some people have called me prophetic, who had that particular frame.
Yeah.
And I've certainly been able to do like psychic readings and astrological readings because something just opens up where I can see everything in someone else. Yeah. But I don't know how to close that up well enough to bring myself.
Let me explain this, by the way. There's people listening because there's people.
Oh, go ahead.
Because there's people listening who think you're a kook. I just want to explain. I don't think you're a kook, but there are people.
Wait, hold on. There's people listening because of the readings thing.
Yeah, well, whatever. They think she's deluded.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to.
I don't.
Okay, I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never respected a woman more.
You're being hyperbolic. Okay.
I'm being hyperbolic. Yes.
Overshooting a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little.
There are people who have very thin boundaries, buffers. Okay. So first of all, you have to have a metaphysical view of reality. You have to believe that there is reality. You can't be a materialist. You have to believe that there is reality beyond what we can process with our five senses. Okay, if you don't believe that, like whatever, I'm not here to convince you, but all right, if you come from the premise that there is stuff beyond what we can process with our five senses. So most people, for whatever reason, God decided that the standard factory default setting for human beings is to mostly be only aware of that which they can process, five senses, stimuli through their five senses, and the rest of the stuff, very, very, very faint, if at all, is processed. Then there are other people who have a much thinner boundary, and they are picking up on this stuff. You can call it intuition. You can call it, sensitivity. Like you were saying earlier, Jeff, that like when you're really in a good place where you didn't use the word flow state, but like when things are just you're just
there. I'm channeling.
Right, you're channeling. So, and you're saying it's not me; it's coming from somewhere.
Yes,
okay.
I don't know where.
Okay, so you could be a kook for saying that.
You're right.
Okay, but the reality is, it's not. If you would have sat down and someone would have demanded from you, plan this out, write this on paper, you can't do it. And yet, in the moment, there's something effortlessly.
Yeah,
right. It's just there. Okay. So clearly there's stuff that's out there, and we are all antennae who pick up to varying degrees.
Yes.
Some people have more sensitive antennas.
Right, than others.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. So I totally get what you're saying, and I believe that you do see stuff that other people don't see, or you have certain premonitions that turn out to be correct. So here's your question. if I can just rephrase it for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You thrive in silence, because for you, even silence is not silent. Silence is actually the one opportunity to experience reality. And when you're among
Yes.
people, even people you love and you're trying to connect to intimately, you're picking up, it's almost like you're trying to read a book and people are blasting their radio next to you.
Yes.
Right? It's like
Yes.
how I keep reading the same sentence over and over again because I got 5 clowns next to me all blasting different radio stations.
Yes.
Right. And it's exhausting, it's depleting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let me suggest something to you. So Jeff, you ever heard in the rooms people say God speaks through people?
Yeah.
So listen, everything is God speaking. At the end of the day, all of reality, where's it coming from? It's coming from the origin, and that's it. That he's the origin. It's all coming from him, right? So, it's like when you're on the set of Curb, it's like even though there's like other actors, but they're all like Larry's inventions, right? So
yeah, he's
God
created
like
the characters.
David, right?
Yes,
He created the characters.
yes, it's
he created
flown.
the scenario.
It's flown out of Larry. Yeah.
It's all flowing out of him.
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though there's other actors, but it's really all
Yeah.
Larry. It's all
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell him that I'm comparing. I used him as a metaphor for God. Okay.
Yeah. He'll like that.
Okay. You're comfortable with when you are meeting God one-on-one. What I'm telling you is God is no less present and directly connecting to you when it's happening through people. That's no less godly. It's less pleasant because it's mixed in with all of how they've garbled it and all of their wounds and all of everything they're carrying. But I'm telling you, it's no less godly. And you already graduated, you're in the advanced class. Like you already got to the point where you're at peace and silence. That's not your challenge. That's in fact not even very useful. I mean, I'm not telling you not to have that in your life because you do need that for like just restoring yourself once in a while. But your job is really, I'm sorry to say it, I don't know, and I'm not a prophet. I don't know if this is true or not, but just logically, I'm saying this. It sounds like to me your calling is to discover more how is God communicating to you through your relationships. Because there's a lot that God teaches us through people. And in fact, some of the most powerful lessons we only learn through other people. And it's not that they are God. It's not that they are prophets. Sometimes they don't even know what it is that they're teaching us. Or in fact, I'll take it even further. I heard somebody once say it like this. We learn something from everyone in our lives. Some people come into our lives as teachers. Some people come into our lives as lessons.
Mm-hmm.
The people
That's beautiful.
There are people who are lessons.
Yes.
They have nothing to teach us, but we learn a lot from them.
Yes.
I learned my lesson from this guy.
I think that's so beautiful. That's a beautiful way of putting it, and maybe gives me a little more openness to spending time with people. Not a ton of them at one time.
No.
At least maybe one-on-one.
One-on-one, one-on-two.
Whatever doesn't overwhelm you.
Right. Engage yourself, and have an exit strategy, Don't like go on a boat or something. Because that could be hell, right?
No
that
cruises.
Could be hell. Yeah.
Cruises.
No cruises. No cruises. Yeah.
I really appreciate how often you mention this in your online content as well. and I share it with people, and everybody who reads it or listens to it seems to respond really powerfully. There's just not a lot of conversation that isn't sort of like new agey or all about psychology and empaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess it is my honor to be able to fulfill that niche, I guess. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. It's also a struggle in Judaism because Judaism is not a language of sitting silently, especially in synagogue, right? There's so little room for anything like that. It doesn't have much of a home for me in any sort of Jewish setting.
Yeah. Yeah. People are always shocked when they come into shul and they see how loud it is.
I'm going to tell you something. People ask me if I'm religious, which I'm not. I'm a spiritual Jew. A lot of people say cultural, but I'm spiritual because I believe in God and I believe in Judaism. I'm going to tell you, and this is embarrassing, why I'm not more religious.
Why?
I can't deal with the standing and sitting. I cannot go up, go down, and I'm up for a good 30. I'm down for 2. Then I go up for 45. It made me, as a kid with attention deficit disorder and also not feeling comfortable. And now, whenever I go to shul and I'm sitting there, and if I don't get up, it's Jeff Garlin not getting up, and it's painful.
If I could find you a place to daven where nobody is standing and sitting at the same time anyways, because it's completely disorganized.
Right.
And so there's no, well, the congregation, please rise and turn to page 83. None of that. It's just completely everyone just doing whatever they're doing. Maybe, I don't want to overplay my hand. Anyways, okay.
No, go and finish what you're saying.
Maybe you come daven with me sometime. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, no. Well, by the way, yes, hold on. Yes, I would. Might be soon. Might be down the road. We don't know when it'll be.
We don't know when it'll be.
But I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. That spiritually aligns with me.
You can do whatever you want. Stand up, walk around.
It pulled me up. That style has pulled me away because I'm so overwhelmed by the up and I hate. You know what I love doing? I love walking and I love sitting. Standing is my enemy. I hate standing. And you stand on sets and it becomes, and then my lower back goes out. Not that it goes on that long in temple for my lower back to go out, but it goes against what I find comfortable for me. And I know sometimes in life things have to be uncomfortable, but if I'm choosing to go to shul, then it has to be.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Okay.
So you know that I'm saying Kaddish this year for my mother. I was saying Kaddish last year for my father.
Right.
So I am forced to pray in a minyan 3 times a day. Every day. Okay. This may surprise you because I'm a rabbi and everyone assumes that I have a certain way of practicing. But before this, before I had to be at a minyan, at a organized, congregational group prayer thing, I rarely did it. What I would do is, like, let's say Shabbos, okay? I'll go in the hallway and I'll listen. I'll hear, the Torah reading, whatever. But I'm pacing. I'm moving. I can't be in one spot. I can't. Now I'm forced to be in there because, I have to say Kaddish and all that. So I have to be kind of rigid and go follow along with the. But I used to never follow with the. I would pray at my own pace. I'd do whatever. Start when I want, end when I want, go faster, slower.
That's fascinating.
I had to do it.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
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 It's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah. Okay. Kayla, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you both for making this possible.
Yeah. It's
a pleasure meeting you, and I love your name.
Oh, thank you. Take care.
Be well. Okay. Amazing.
What a lovely woman.
Yeah.
And that is because I know my partner has that. My partner, it's very difficult from the standpoint of she knows what I'm feeling before I know what I'm feeling. She knows if I'm lying, if I'm stretching the truth. She just knows. She looks at me and she just knows. And it's really, and sometimes she's completely wrong, in terms of me lying, but 98% of the time, it's like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you know I'm feeling that before I'm feeling that? It's remarkable. I'm grateful for that.
My favorite video on all of YouTube. I'm not sure if I've said this. I say a lot of random things on the Carlin show, so I may have said this. My favorite video on all of YouTube is a clip of Orson Welles talking about cold reading. You ever seen this clip?
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's going to come up in your YouTube feed now because, you know, if you have the phone in the room, it hears me and it'll come up. Anyway, by the way, Orson Welles was from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Just saying, I'm a Midwesterner. Okay. He tells this story about he started in the carnivals.
Right.
So that was his background. He was a carny. So he said he was acting in a play and he got bored one day and he decided he's going to go out and do the Swami routine. Going to put on a turban and, you know, do fortune telling. And he's talking about how he uses this method called cold reading, which is, you know, whatever. It's you make very general observations that could be true about anybody, and then, you know, say like, oh, when you were between 12 and 14, you went through a great change. Oh, that's true. I did.
Yeah.
You have a scar on your left knee. Oh, yes, I do. Everyone has a scar on their left. Okay. But then they give you more and more information, and then you can close in on it, and it becomes uncanny, right? It's really, how in the world could you know these things? Okay. And then he says, but then what happens is, he says, the occupational hazard of every cold reader in the argot of these carnival people is to become what is known as a shut eye. Shut eye is one who believes in his own powers.
Oh, dear God.
And he said it happened to him.
Yeah.
And he had this intuition. A lady comes in, and before she even spoke, and he said, your husband passed away last week. And she starts crying. She says, yeah, that's right. That's what happened. And he said after that, he shut it down. He wouldn't do it anymore. Okay. It's really compelling. He's a very interesting guy. He's Orson Welles.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you something. And, you know, he's a storyteller, so I don't even know. It may never even have happened.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. But he's almost, at one time, he's like being dismissive of it. Like, oh, you know, you drank your own Kool-Aid, basically. You're reading your own press, right?
Right.
But on the other hand, it's like, no, it's a real thing. And it's, maybe the cold reading is manipulative because that's just, you know, guesswork dressed up as, you know, intuition. But at a certain point, you do it enough. It's just, it's practice makes perfect, or even practice, you know, just improves. You do start to pick up on stuff. And it's not necessarily information processed by the five senses. Or even if it is stuff that you're picking up with your five senses, but you're not processing it consciously. There's a whole computer in the background. And, you know, so when, you know, this woman was saying how she has this intuition or, you know, psychic ability, you can call it what you want. You call it psychic. And when people use the word psychic, you know, I always think about those Time Life books from the 70s. The
occult and the psychic and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mysteries of the Pyramids.
Mr. Pyramid, all that stuff. Yeah. It was a collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's certain words that sound corny, but the phenomenon itself is a legitimate phenomenon.
Yes.
And I would say, and you could tell me if I'm overreaching here, that good improv is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That you are anticipating
in
a way you could not articulate.
Right.
Where the energy is going.
But that's why you have to take a beat, though, in case you're wrong. You do. But you're usually right in those moments. When you get to that level, you're usually right.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to take the beat because you don't want to be wrong. You know? And that's why it's not that you're fear of going wrong. It's just respect for maybe you don't have the superpower in this moment. Maybe it's not being channeled through you.
Right. Right. Which is like, it's not 100%.
No.
But in those moments when it is, it really is. And there is something otherworldly about it and something spiritual about it. And it's not stuff that you could know You couldn't sit down beforehand and write it up and say, this is what this person's going to say. And then somehow in the moment, it's almost like, like Magic Johnson with those no-look pass assists, to Kareem, like just knowing, just intuitively knowing.
But a lot of those went nowhere, went out of bounds. They did.
Those are not in the highlight reel.
Yeah, those are not in the highlight, but they did. I remember clearly. Anyone who does backwards passes and stuff like that, you'll hit it way more than you won't, but the won'ts are there. But that also is that lesson of like, the amount of failure that goes with great success.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the caller's name? Chaim. It's a whole festival of names. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, Chaim.
Hello.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
What's up?
First of all, Rabbi Taub, I just want to say that you're just one shut-eye away from becoming a mega multi-millionaire.
Yeah, I can go into business with that. On Rockaway Turnpike, there's a psychic business that went out of business. I could buy it.
The sign is still there.
The sign is still there. I wouldn't even have to pay for a new sign. What's going on? I know who this is, but I figured out who. I know this guy.
By the way, you know what my imagination just did with the psychic house?
Yeah.
That I would buy it and people would come in and I'd just offer them lemonade. And I wouldn't like, can you read my mind? And I say, no, I don't have that skill. Here's some fresh lemonade. Now be on your journey. It's so stupid, but.
This guy, Chaim, I want to tell you something before you speak.
Yeah.
I give a class on Jewish humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I came with like what I considered to be like the quintessential Jewish jokes. And I got up there and every joke, his whole thing was he was sitting in the back row and he would try to yell out the punchline as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
See how quickly he could figure out what the joke was. Something would, like name that tune,
right?
Name that tune in 2 notes or whatever.
Right.
Okay. And I was loving it because to me, we all know these jokes. Who didn't hear these punchlines?
Right.
To me, it's like it's comfort viewing, right? We all know this stuff.
Right.
But there were people in the audience who were getting so annoyed. Let him tell the joke, and I'm like, it's not the. We all know these are folk songs.
Right.
No one's being surprised over here.
He's just singing along from the back row.
He's just singing along from the back row, which is, that's
it
was beautiful for me. But they were getting unnerved because they thought I was trying to tell jokes. Okay.
In my defense, in my defense, I just want to say I have never in my life even if I know a joke. The only reason I found it funny to do it with you is because of my relationship with you and I know you appreciate.
Can you see these people?
Ruining
no,
the build up.
No, this is playback right here. This is just a 5-second delay.
Oh, okay, that's us. Okay,
us.
I thought you were looking at him.
No, I can't see him. I'm just looking at playback. I'm actually. It's a phone. Yeah, it's a literal phone.
Okay.
I'm also looking at the chat because people write in the chat. I'm just looking if anything was.
Yeah.
We need to respond. Somebody like in the chat.
Anyway, the reason.
Wait 1 second, Chaim. I'm just going to show Jeff. Like this guy says, I like both, but have 2 cats as well. Dogs are trainable, whereas cats train us. Ha ha. I'm just letting you know that's what's going on in the chat.
Has he been listening? He's in the chat saying stuff, but is he actually listening to the show? Because that is nothing.
I don't know how people process.
By the way,
things.
I wanted to tell you something.
Yeah.
And this is a good caller to interrupt with this. You didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you who the funniest comedian ever is.
Okay.
Okay. In my opinion, strong opinion.
Okay.
Groucho Marx is the greatest comedic mind of however long.
Mm-hmm.
There are other people who are a gift that big. Eddie Murphy has this gift of, I don't know where it comes from, but Groucho was the first one, at least in terms of modern recording, film, television, you bet your life. Truly the funniest man ever. I just threw that in here now. It really had nothing to do with it.
No, it's great. Yeah, because I asked you before the 3 wisest comedians.
Yeah.
And you only told me 2. You told me Carlin and Pryor.
Right.
Now you're saying the biggest comedic genius was Groucho.
Yes.
Okay.
And there are other people though, like Eddie Murphy. I'm in awe of his talent. Like Jack Black is another one. Yeah, I did a movie with him. But Jack Black, also a lovely gentleman. They do things that other human beings cannot do. They're like, it's super, you know, yeah. So, but yeah, Groucho Marx.
Groucho. Okay, Chaim, what's going on?
Yeah, I just want to say, because I think it's an awful thing. I never ever interrupted a joke to rush to the punchline. But speaking of telepathy or getting into knowing, you know, I
lost you. You said, "Oh, I lost him." No, I don't hear him. Did you push a button or something? He was talking about telepathy. He's gonna get him back. So who's the third wise comedian?
I still don't. All right, let me just. I'm gonna just do a little
Google?
search. Yeah,
Google
just get a name. Just throw some names at me.
Okay. What?
Well, let's see here. Here I'm gonna go to my Claude.
Okay.
Claude. Utilities. Here you go. And I'm just gonna write. Who are the wisest comedians?
There was a thing I think Colin Quinn did.
He's a wise one.
Yeah, he is wise, by the way. Very wise.
The gentleman, I love him.
But he had a thing, I think, where if people would applaud instead of laugh, you would get like, you'd sit in a penalty box or something. I forget what it was, but he had this show with like comedians. And like the worst thing you could do is say something that was supposed to be, so to speak, profound, that would elicit applause rather than laughter. Because that was his thing. Like if a comedian says something like that makes the audience applaud as opposed to laugh, it's kind of pandering. You know?
Yes, but also there's the level of, I think one of the enemies of comedy is cleverness.
Right.
Cleverness is not funny. You're a humorist if you use cleverness. Comedians don't. I was doing a show. This is a couple weeks ago in Los Angeles, and I was very revealing, telling a story, very vulnerable. And then someone came with a follow-up, and I said, I have to not do that because this is a comedy show. I can't go deeper because that doesn't serve the purpose of the show. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that I shared that and there was some humor in it,
right?
But I can't do another level down because then it no longer is what they came for, you know?
Chaim's back on. Okay. And Jeff is Googling or he's asking.
I have no idea how.
Okay. We heard something, you mentioned telepathy and then you cut out.
Oh, so I was just saying that the only reason I did it is because I said the punchline before you started the joke based on what the idea, the concept you are using the joke for. I guessed the joke you were going to use and then said the punchline. Otherwise I would never disturb the joke. But anyway, you were just saying that was our.
But I was in on it. I was in on it and I enjoyed it. And
yeah.
Okay, so what's going on?
I'm so tempted to geek out on like comedy stuff, but I open YouTube and I see, oh my God, like, and it's like, oh, of course, Jeff and Shais are sitting. That makes perfect sense.
But
like, how did that not happen sooner?
Because you want to geek out on comedy. I'm going to give you one opportunity to say whatever you want, your most controversial comedy opinion. Go for it.
Yeah.
Your comedic hot take.
No, I'm not. Okay. I don't. I'm gonna guess why I think Groucho is the funniest.
Okay. Why is Groucho the funniest?
He is impossibly. He's Jewish without trying to. He cannot not be Jewish, even though he didn't officially do Jewish.
You're saying Jackie Mason was officially. Everyone knew that was part of the shtick. That he's Jewish,
overt, right? Yeah.
Groucho was able to do it effortlessly without signifying.
If Dick Cavett had ever asked him, like, do you do, he would have, so let me get to what I'm actually.
Okay.
This is very timely. You mentioned when I opened YouTube, Jeff was talking about letting go of his baseball cards, and literally, been busy the last 2 days, and I'm working at my warehouse now, clearing things up, whatever. At 7 a.m., some guy's coming from New Jersey to pick up over 2,000 of my records that I've been collecting since I'm 17. And I'm like sifting through and really like choosing which ones
and you're
I want to hold on
having
to. It's
cold
very
sweats
difficult.
thinking about letting go of your the Yiddish Are Coming album.
So I'm like keeping at least one copy of, but I'm looking at like each of the Shelley Berman records, and it's funny. So you mentioned Shelley Berman was doing this documentary about 10 years ago, When Jews Were Funny, and the guy, he keeps attempting to deny that he does Jewish. He's like, I don't.
Who? Shelley was denying.
Shelley Berman was denying to
nothing Jewish about
it. The documentary. He's like, I never did Jewish. And the guy like doesn't want to like ruin it, but he's like, what do you mean you don't? So he thinks that he can like not, he could.
By the way, speaking of punchlines of jokes, it reminds me of my fellow Goyim. You know the joke?
Right.
This Jewish guy converts to Catholicism, becomes a priest, and so the Monsignor takes him aside and says, Father Goldberg, I want to tell you that you're doing well as a priest, but I'd advise not beginning the sermon with my fellow Goyim. Right. So Shelley was denying that he was doing Jewish.
Combine the theme. Yeah, I guess so. First of all, I relate to this. It's not the first time I'm moving, and it's like very necessary. Somehow, whenever it's happened, it's been like at a very crucial point where I'm almost being led or forced to what feels like forced, but then realize being led to like a new stage, even though it's a physical move, it comes with like a lot of emotions. Anyway, and this time I'm really, I've been, deflecting from stuff with a lot of over collecting over the last couple of years. But anyway, I have a box for you, Shais, that I'm gonna make your problem. But anyway,
he's dehoarding. He's gonna bring me a box of LPs. Now I don't have a record player.
Well, send them off to me.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to minimize.
Yeah, but there might be something in there that I want to keep, especially if it's comedy.
By the way, my hoarding is another person's access to something new. Just not. I didn't taint
probably
it.
All on YouTube by now.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So all right. Anyway, so we've talked about this in the past, Shais and I. By the way, I spoke to Jeff. I spoke to you once on Clubhouse during that
during the phone thing, right? Wasn't that the phone thing?
Yeah.
That was during COVID, right?
Yeah. Towards the tail end of COVID, it was. You were very funny. It was great. Anyway, so you had a previous caller sort of allude to this sort of thing, like facing a new frontier or a new chapter of like they've done work in the past, they've done it, and then sort of circumstances or stuff are setting them back, or that sort of thing. And I almost feel like there's like a unique pain and less of, maybe I'm just not accessing it, but like much, much harder. I've been through the ringer with, healing and recovery, but when it's like I tasted what life could be like, and I'm chasing after, like trying to, reassemble the pieces as opposed to considering the possibility that there's a new frontier, and I'm just trying to like get back to where I was. And like the collecting is almost a form of that. Like when I'm like, I'm trying to recapture whatever like joy this thing gave me but in the meantime I'm forcing something that's not.
You understand what he's saying? Sometimes the collecting is a way of like totemizing a certain like part of your life and trying to concretize it, turn it into an object so it becomes permanent. Because like life is not permanent. Life is always in flux. And then you have these objects that represent certain eras of your life, and then you hold on to the object. It's like as if you're like holding on to that part of your life, but you can't. You can't.
No. That's why you got to minimize it to, okay, these 3 record albums
are relevant now.
Are relevant, bring me joy, and they also harken back to a place where I felt warm and better. You know, I've been collecting things to remind me of when I was 12 for years. And baseball cards do that. And I am not getting rid of any of the baseball cards that I have, like Sandy Koufax or Ernie Banks, like old ones. Everything I'm getting rid of is like new. Aaron Judge ones I have signed, Ohtani, all going, everything going. But the old stuff that I'm connected to, but that's what brings me the joy. That's the core of what can I look at and beam? What can I look at and my heart smiles? Not what can I look at and I feel the pressure of why I'm not enjoying that more. Or it's in a box and I go, everything in this box is really overwhelming me.
Yeah. And it's almost like I'm able to access the joy of the stuff I really want as I let go of the chef. Like
yes, that's the way you discover it.
Yeah.
Chaim came
Like
by my house on Shabbos and I was asleep. My daughter told me afterwards. She's like, "Oh, Chaim came by. He's a friend of me. He's one of my neighbors." But people are
but I'm a good codependent, so I got the high of knowing that you would know that I didn't. I told her not to wake you up.
No, I was. I really was asleep. People are going to watch this and they're going to think that it's like community access, and the only people who call in are like my friends and neighbors.
Well, that's if I may,
my insecurity.
That's the world your son has created. By putting these calls through, he should say, no, you cannot talk to the rabbi.
Talk to him on Shabbos.
Talk to him on Shabbos. We need strangers.
No, but I told, but I really do got problems.
No. By the way, I was not. I was doing a thing.
Just a bit. It was just a bit. Okay.
But I should say, all right, I won't. But I think you guys are 2 peas in a pod. I hope this is.
We're going to do this every week.
Yeah. So nice.
Jeff's moving to New York, and we're going to just do this every week. Yeah, amazing. Okay, Chaim.
I love it. And by the way, speaking of the Al-Anon meting, don't ever try to keep a door open for someone at an Al-Anon meeting.
Oh, no. Hold the door for someone. They get very offended.
Oh, it's all just a big bowl of, But those are the people that you want to avoid in Al-Anon. I know you're doing that as jokes, but there are people who take it to a level that's not healthy.
Right.
Same with all of it.
Right,
it's what they might got to scratch. All right.
Okay. By the way, thank you, Chaim. I'll see you on Shabbos. Come on, come by and say hi.
Yeah.
Did you know the movie Stuart Saves His Family? Okay. Al Franken.
Oh yeah, but he's an alcoholic.
He's an Al-Anon. Stuart
Al-Anon, right? Yeah.
Stuart Smiley. He's this like self-help type guy.
Yeah. Because his wife's an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that film got made. It's so niche. The whole thing is recovery humor.
As a matter of fact, one of my 2 mentors made that movie, Harold Ramis.
Can we talk about Harold Ramis for a second?
As much as you want. I
met Harold once on the set of Stuart Saves His Family. And I remember I told you, and I said it a few times, you give this Chicago Jewish energy, which is intangible and very soothing for me. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's very off-putting for most people.
Oh, what are you doing that? All right, go ahead.
Okay. Harold Ramis is a Rogers Park Jew.
Yes.
Okay. He had that
Most
energy.
Definitely. Why do you think I gravitated towards him as someone to lead the way? Yeah, he was very important to me. So was Paul Mazursky. He was my other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those were 2 people that really helped guide me. I owe a lot to both of them. Learned a lot.
Where was Paul Mazursky from?
Paul Mazursky is from Brooklyn.
Oh, he's a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I know him more as a director. He was a director.
Yeah, he directed. Yeah, lots of.
And
movies.
Harold Ramis became a director, but he came more from like an improv background.
Yeah, Second City, and then SCTV, and then, he, he's a special dude. Was a special dude.
Yeah. So Harold Ramis, a real. I mean, I guess most people know him because of
Ghostbusters.
Well, they know him in front of the camera for Ghostbusters. Behind the camera, they know him from Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day is his masterpiece.
That's his,
Yeah.
But just such a tremendous. I mean, maybe people think this is like I'm being hyperbolic here, but such a profound observer of the human condition.
Yes.
Which is why he was funny.
And also a very enlightened dude. Very enlightened.
What I mean, did you ever speak to him? I know that.
Let me speak
No,
to him.
no, not. I know you spoke to him many times. I'm saying, did you ever speak to him about these deep things, or
Always talked
did?
about everything with him. Yeah.
So, could you share some of his wisdom?
You know, it just was a way of looking at things. I see, this is the thing. I'm really bad at that. Like, you'd say something, and then I go, Harold once told me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way it works. It's almost like improvising from an outline.
Right. Remember when
I
it's
cannot
triggered.
go to what happened over here. Okay, I cannot go to find that in my brain or in whatever's going on. I cannot find that tink. You know, it has to be. I do know the first time I knew I was successful, like really successful, is when I went to lunch and Harold asked me a favor. And I'm like, oh, Harold Ramis is asking me to help him with this showbiz thing. I was like, all right, I'm successful. That's how I marked it. Not by money, not by actual fame per se, but by someone who I was a mentor, who I greatly admired.
What do you mean a favor? Like an industry favor?
Yeah, he wanted me to help get this one TV show off the ground.
Okay. You don't mean a favor like get me a cup of coffee?
No. This was something
favor.
like Harold Ramis wants me to help get a TV show off the ground. Do you know what I mean? It was like, that was, and the fact that he was also my mentor and we were friends and all of it, it just had such deep meaning for me. It's never, like, for example, I've had lunch once with Milton Berle by myself.
Okay.
He always wanted to know what my shtick was. I didn't know how to explain that I don't have one, that I'm just funny, you know, because back then they had shticks.
You have to have your signature.
I spent time with lots of different people like that.
Wait, Milton Berle was kind of grilling you, like, what's your thing?
Yeah, we were talking about comedy, and
you wanted to know what you.
Yeah, what's your shtick? He said that to me, and I kept on putting it off because I didn't have an answer.
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't want to tell him I don't have any shtick, you know. Yeah, all these old. But my point of what I said with Harold Ramis is, when I'm sitting with George Segal, I'm sitting with Milton Berle. There's other artists, comedic, musically, who I've gotten to know, who as a child I admired. You know, they're older than me, and it's never lost on me those moments. It's never like, of course I'm sitting with Milton Berle. I'm meant to be sitting with Milton Berle.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, maybe. But that's maybe God saying I'm meant to. I don't know that I'm meant to. And all I know is I'm sitting here and all I'm thinking is I am sitting and having lunch with Milton Berle. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
he's an icon.
Yeah. But but lots of icons that way. You know, I remember Jackie Mason. I got to know him. We were both doing our one-man shows in Chicago at the same time.
Okay.
And I got great reviews and big success. He, of course, great reviews in a theater 10 times the size of the theater I'm playing. So I go to see a show. And afterwards, he asks me about how my show's going. And I tell him how sick I am of my own voice and that every night I improvise. So the show is nothing like it was when he goes, what are you, a fool? What are you doing? You know, you got a hit show. You should do your hit show. But even if he's telling me that, I'm like, Jackie Mason is telling me this stuff. It's like, what world? I mean, you know, it's never my eyes are still big. Do you know what I mean? They're not like, there was a comedian. You wouldn't even know him. My partner, she asked him, of all the comedians you've met, because he had met a lot lately, it was the work he did, who were you most in awe of? And his response was nobody. His response was, in other words, his ego led him to believe.
Let himself be in awe of anyone.
Yeah. I should be with them. I should be talking to them, you know, whereas, you know, it'd be so interesting to hear who he You know, I could tell you who I've spent. Do you know one night? As I'm telling you these stories, but one night I'm sitting between Bob Newhart and Don Rickles, best friends.
Amazing.
And I knew them both. And as I'm between them, I'm thinking, I'm in between Don Rickles. Right. I almost could be screaming it from the hilltops because I cannot believe that I'm there. It's like, this is a dream.
Yeah.
You know, and when I was younger, I didn't dream of hanging out with Bob Newhart. I just dreamed of doing what Bob Newhart did. You know, and of course I would have loved to. I did meet him and know him, but you know, and it's also like strange that I also go, Bob Newhart knows who I am. Mm-hmm. You know, all that stuff. But I remember this one young comedian who it was a turnoff to my partner and I that he
didn't have any
heroes. None.
He wasn't in awe of anyone.
No, he's bigger than that. Ugh. So I'm not really friends with him anymore.
Could you hear me now, by the way?
What's that?
Could you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got it working.
Yeah, we hear you.
Is there any other caller?
No, there's no more callers. But I wanted to ask you about the Detroit, Michigan shirt and then the Cubs cap.
The Detroit, Michigan shirt is my partner, Sari, and the entire track family. Lives in West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit.
We know West Bloomfield very well.
And I am just supporting. I sometimes wear a Tigers hat.
Love that.
Lion shirt. This one, I saw this one. I really liked it. I become very friendly with the Red Wings broadcaster. The Red Wings have been very nice to me. They're the arch enemy of the Blackhawks.
Yes.
Which makes it a bit confusing. Although Patrick Kane played for both and Chris Chelios, these are guys on the thing. But anyhow, so that's that. And my Cubs hat is just a different version. Like they make these they're always like a lot of Michigas going on the hats, like this and a patch here and a thing here, where I like the plain blue with the red thing.
Yeah.
But this one there was such a level of simplicity to this one and being dark. And I thought, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I got this only a few weeks ago.
It's formal attire.
It's formal attire, and then I wear it backwards in honor of having sort of a yarmulke tonight.
It's like a yarmulke, yeah.
I was more asking like how could you wear both Detroit and Chicago?
I don't get into that.
You don't get into that.
Like in other words, it's like you know, anybody who doubts that I'm a Cubs fan, anyone who doubts that I don't support the Detroit Tigers or Red Wings, that's their business.
The Cubs and the Tigers are different leagues.
Yeah, no, but yes,
but
the Lions and the Bears, same division.
Yes, but the Lions. Who in their right mind doesn't root for the Lions? They haven't won anything since Bobby Lane was the quarterback. So, of course, I have by the way, if the Bears play them, of course I want the Bears to win. But the Bears don't win and the Lions win, that's cool.
By the way, speaking of the Bears,
did
you know George Wendt?
Yes, very well.
Well, you know why I'm saying that because of
what?
The Bears. The Bears.
Yeah.
I always wondered why Saturday Night Live even bothered to make that skit because nobody got it. Nobody got it.
Well, it became legendary, though.
But nobody got the joke.
But here's the
if
thing:
you're not from Chicago, you don't
want
get it.
Want me to give you the inside scoop?
There has to be an inside scoop.
Okay, when I was roommates with Conan O'Brien, he had come to Chicago, and it was during a writer's strike, and a show was put on with Bob Odenkirk, Robert Smigel. 80s.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk, Conan O'Brien, Robert Smigel, you know, Triumph the dog. And Robert wrote, it was around a gas station, 3 Southside guys in a gas station with the Ditka mustaches.
Right.
So it was a skit from a show. And all these guys worked in SNL. And then they just pitched it, and it happened to get on one night.
I can't believe they got it.
Yeah. But then it grew, and it's like if you build it, they will come. And then the Bears, I mean, I hope, you know, I've never asked Robert this, if he ever has gotten a penny from any of the Bears merchandise. The Bears do it, like you can buy it all over. Right. Does he get a penny? Does he have the trademark on the Bears?
Now, from the guys who were playing the Southsiders in that the Bears skit, George Wendt was the only one who really was authentic. I mean,
he was authentic. Yes, that's why he was so perfect in starting that, because he inherently, to his core, understood it.
Right.
Yeah. So
George Wendt once, I think he told this to Bob Costas once. I think that's where he said it. He said maybe he told this to you. Okay. He said I don't know where he was performing. He said he was performing. In the middle of the act, somebody screams out, "You're boring, people." You ever heard this from him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, keep going, though. It's a good story.
Okay. I think about this all the time. He didn't know how to parse the sentence. He wasn't sure if they said, "You up there are causing the people in the audience to be bored. You're boring people.
Right.
You're making people be bored."
Yeah.
People being the direct object. You are right now causing boredom to people. Or you're boring, comma, people, calling them the people.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Or, this is very Talmudic here. I have to go with the thumb. He was saying to them, "You're boring people. You people are boring." Boring's the adjective. You're boring people.
You've got a song to that too, almost. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, George was always nice to me. Really lovely. As a matter of fact, I had a period at Second City where when I was on stage, the audience would yell Norm. Because I had a great resemblance, especially at that time, my hair, and I was heavier. They would yell Norm. And so I told them about it. So we were performing in Ireland, bunch of us. And I'm on stage, and he's sitting up front, just seeing what's going on. And I told him, and he said, "How do you think I feel? I am Norm, but he was cool, So I'm up on stage, all the Norms, and I look at him in the audience while this is happening, and he just throws his arms up. I guess so, So, but you've always been lovely, good guy.
Did you figure out the third most?
Woody Allen.
Okay, that's controversial.
Woody Allen, that's not controversial.
No, it is, and I'm going to tell you why.
No, but
not because of any of that other stuff.
I'm just going to say
because he's not considered a stand-up.
But he was a stand-up for many years. But I'm not.
But no one considers him a stand-up.
Yes, but I'm including him based on his films, which bring a whole other thing. And he's a contemporary of Richard Pryor and George Carlin, and he was a really brilliant stand-up comedian. But he went on to be one of our greatest filmmakers. So his melancholy has such a profound effect, part of my work. Like Woody Allen is in the core.
Influences.
Of my, certainly Pryor, not as much Carlin, although my admiration and enjoyment of Carlin through the roof. But Woody Allen's work had such a profound effect on me that... as a matter of fact, I met with an actress today. I'm doing a movie that's going to be shot very much curb style, improvised.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling her about it, and I said, you can see it has the melancholy of like a Woody Allen thing. That's what I aspired to. Like when I saw Hannah and her sisters in a crowded theater in Skokie, Illinois, big giant screen, and I'm sharing that thing. And it was like, I was so touched and moved. And I thought, that hit me as to me, that's my calling. Let's go.
This was in
I was in Second City at the time. I'd been doing stand-up for a number of years.
So you're living in the city?
In Chicago, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came up to Skokie?
Yeah, but I also grew up by there, so it was fun.
Martin Grove.
And that was one of the big screens you'd go to, the Old Orchard Theater.
Old Orchard Theater?
Yeah.
So you don't know Old Orchard Theater?
Nope.
Yeah. Big screen.
Yeah.
But no longer there.
Wow. So you consider, so your three wisest or most profound comedians. You said Carlin, Pryor. I think it's controversial, only just because Woody Allen is not known as a stand-up comic. It's a bold take. I respect the boldness.
Well, no, it's not a bold take because everyone who does what I do knows he was a profound stand-up comic, very gifted, and the jokes were great. And he was on Steve Allen, Johnny Carson, all these shows. And then he just made his first breakthrough was forgot the name of the movie, but it was essentially a Japanese movie that he redubbed with his friends. He wrote.
Oh, Casino Royale.
What's that? No, that was an acting job before all this. No, What's Up, Tiger Lily? And it was a Japanese movie that he got the rights to, and he put in all the dubbed in words. He did, for the thing. It's very funny. And then the next one was Take the Money and Run.
Yes.
But I know his career so inside and out. And I have such great, as a filmmaker, I think he's one of America's greatest filmmakers.
Take the Money and Run.
Yeah.
It's done as, at least the beginning part, I think, is like a documentary.
Yeah, that's the sort of style. Then Bananas was the next one.
There's one of the best lines, I remember from Take the Money and Run. It says, I think, no. I think, am I confusing Zelig with, there's a line where it says that,
what?
You told me that when you went to Florida, you got bullied for being Jewish.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot, I think it's at the beginning of Take the Money and Run. It says that he was being bullied by anti-Semites, and that his parents came out and joined
That's Take the Money and Run.
That's Take the Money and Run.
Not
I have a gub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a gub.
Yeah.
No, but the movies like Annie Hall and Hannah and Her Sisters, Crimes and Misdemeanors, which is my favorite.
Really?
These are all profound movies. These are all.
You ever meet Alan Alda?
You know what's so funny? Never.
I met him once.
Yeah, I imagine he was nothing but a gentleman.
He was. I'll tell you something. I met him at. So you live in L.A. Yeah. So I don't know if it's there anymore.
He's lived in New York the whole time.
But on Santa Monica and San Vicente, West Hollywood.
Yeah.
There's a pavilions like Vaughn's Pavilions.
Yes,
whatever.
I know exactly. Well,
okay.
But Santa
Monica and San Vicente.
San Vicente. Oh, I know there's one in Beverly Hills. There's a Vaughn's.
No, right there. It's right there.
Okay.
It's right there.
Uh-huh.
And I was there. This is the 90s.
Right.
And Alan Alda's there, and he had a 6-pack of Beck's beer bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And I came over to him. I said, "Are you Alan Alda?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "You're awesome." And I punched, I don't know, this was spontaneous, but I felt love for him. I punched him on the shoulder. By the way, talk about syndication.
When was this? What year was this?
It's in the 90s. I don't know, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
I punched him on the shoulder. I hope it was okay. But it was admiration and love. Yeah. It was to say Crimes and Misdemeanors, Alan Alda.
Oh, when a comedy bends,
right.
It's funny. If it breaks, it's not. No, he played the ultimate. That character was the opposite of humble.
Right. And
that was a thing of beauty because Woody Allen had his heart broken ultimately because of him. I mean, heartbreak in movies is comedy movies. I did one where there was heartbreak with Sarah Silverman called I Want Someone to Eat Cheese With. My first movie that I made. Yeah. The movie I'm about to do it starts out in a Jewish condo and it turns into a road trip.
Told me you have to, Arkansas.
Yeah, to shoot a movie about Hollywood. Yeah. That's how screwed up my industry is. I am going to Little Rock, Arkansas at the end of the month to film a movie about a Hollywood movie studio.
Takes place in the studio.
It's supposed to be but I mean, there's like exteriors. It's a Hollywood. It's about a Hollywood movie studio.
Is it a period piece or it's?
I don't know.
No, it's today.
Yes, but they're filming it in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
That is screwy. It's just the way things are, and it's worse than that. Shows that you'd think were being filmed here, game shows. I forgot the one with what the hell's his name? I can't think of it.
Richard Dawson.
Family Feud was filmed in Sweden. Close to that though. Rob Lowe's a game show with all the people. It's like a history of the United States.
Rob Lowe does a game show.
Yeah, there's like 50 people involved, and it's about the United States and the map of the United States. They film it in Ireland. They fly 50 American contestants over there and put them up. And they, everything is done in Ireland because they avoid unions and dues and taxes. And it's it's terrible.
This is around the unions.
What's that?
To get around the unions?
Union, all the taxes. It's a whole schmagegi, but it's bad. It's bad for my industry.
Or you can move to Ireland.
I don't want to.
Like Rosie O'Donnell.
I love it. Yeah, I just saw her one-woman show
told me
last
that,
night.
yeah.
Yeah. But let me add, it was wonderful. Yeah, I performed in Ireland. It was very moving for
Yeah,
me.
they called you Norm.
Yeah, that was the same thing, was the Kilkenny Comedy Festival. But I went there down, it happens in every time in your life. I was in my early 30s. I'd been doing comedy like 10, 12 years from now, and I was feeling the sense of giving up. And inspirations and things from God that happened to me there kept me going.
You were going to give up on comedy.
Yeah, what was, yeah.
Why?
Because you can get dark. One of the great things is, my dad always wanted me to have something to fall back on.
Right.
If I had something to fall back on, I would have fallen back on it. To not have anywhere to go but forward,
right,
is awesome.
Burning the boats.
Burning. So I had no place to go.
You're saying if you would have had a degree in something, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Right. As a matter of fact, my ex-wife's father was a tin man in Chicago, and he offered me a sales job, and I said, no, I'm doing this. And then,
by the way, we should explain that Tin Man doesn't mean like from the Wizard of Oz. It means,
it means
aluminum siding.
Aluminum siding homes. And you'll be great at this. And then it got to a point where my career was in, I had a son, infant son, and my career, my wife was a casting director. I wasn't working. And I thought, I'm going to go work for her. I gave a date. I said, if I don't have a job by so-and-so,
okay, I
will go be a tin man, because I said I have to take care of my family. And I got a job right before the deadline. I got a deal with ABC. They used to have these things called development deals. Right. So ABC liked me, whatever, and then they'd sign me to a development deal or a holding deal. Holding deal means they want to cast you in something, so they're holding you,
right,
and they pay you money for that. A development deal is, I told them about my show about a rabbi. Actually, I did have a show with Gina Gershon as a female rabbi. I did. So you go and you pitch the show, and then if they like it, they'll hire you to write a script that goes along till a development deal. You develop something. I had development deals everywhere that went nowhere. I for years. There were like two or three. There were 2 or 3 years where I lived on development deals.
Right. You didn't produce anything, but
nothing was made.
Right.
But I lived on it and supported my family with that. Those no longer exist anymore, though.
Oh, that's not how they structure.
Nah, because that was back when there was 22 episodes a season, so you were really working towards something. Now, for a comedy show, there might be 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's. Curb, we just did 10 every year. Do you know in London? In English television, all the great comedies there.
They're all a couple seasons.
Yeah.
BBC is very different.
But there are also 6 episodes a season.
6 episodes, okay.
Yeah, like Faulty Towers, there's only 12 episodes.
Or Blackadder.
Blackadder.
Very few.
Yeah, very few.
Right, but there's a reason for that.
What is?
Capitalism. When you're making money selling ads, you're going to milk it. That's why shows jump the shark, because they won't let them die a dignified death.
Right, but that's an American phenomenon.
That's what I'm saying. In America,
not in English, yeah.
In Britain, they don't have that.
But that no longer exists. Shows actually forget jumping the shark; they're swimming under the shark because they get canceled like a year too soon. For me, if I'm developing a show for Netflix, I'm developing 3 seasons of 6 episodes. So it's an arc of 3 seasons that I go in with. And very often they'll cancel you after the first, the second, before the third. You're lucky if you do a 3rd season. That's just the way it sort of operates, And from this, and also there's the fact, and this has been going on for years, where network studios, no one gives a shit if you're a critical darling. Makes no difference.
Why? Because it's not making money?
You're not making enough money for them. And they don't go, this is good TV, let's invest in it. Let's help it grow. Like Seinfeld. Someone invested in it. Someone spent time letting it develop, and it went on to be probably the most successful television comedy.
Profitable,
Yeah.
You're saying, but somebody easily could have killed it early on.
Right. But look at The Honeymooner. There's only 39 episodes, and they were filmed, I think, over 2 seasons, maybe even 1. I like when things are less.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more. Simplicity.
Yeah.
Call back.
So like the thunder.
Callback.
Like there are.
By the way, so do you know that callback is a stand-up comedy term?
I guess I'm a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm inviting you guys. You could take off your headphones because we're not going to
don't
have
have any
callers.
calls.
No more callers.
Oh, my ears are burning.
How do you do the show for? Look, we're at right now. We're at 2.5 hours.
So I often go like 3 hours.
I think it's time to wrap up.
You want to
Let's
wrap
do
up?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay.
You know why?
So
I'm old.
yeah,
And
you
I
have
must
to go to the bathroom.
sleep.
Oh,
Well, yes, I'm going to the
I thought you were gonna say
bathroom.
you have to go to the bathroom.
Then I'm going to sleep, and then I'm going to order my Uber back into
Okay.
the city.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Yes.
okay, let's maybe because first of all, I appreciate that you told me you're ready for anything. You're just going to flow.
Yeah.
and you
That's what I'm
were
best
true
at.
to your word.
Yes.
You're very
Yes.
yeah. And we got serious, and we
Yeah, all of it.
Did the
And I
whole
was
thing.
paying for the most part attention to what you were saying and commenting on what you were saying or asking questions about
Well, I
that, which was
paying
my
attention to
goal.
The callers, maybe
Right.
okay, and we got some good life lessons from comedy and from improv. We did the whole thing, profound, and
Yes.
we spoke about some of the legends, Groucho Marx, Milton.
And by the
Berle.
way, what if I told you it's weird? We
Yeah.
even had some Christian undertones to the show.
Really
Yeah. Undertones.
undertones. Okay, we're gonna see if anyone calls us out on it. Okay.
I just wanted to say the most absurd thing I can, that there were Christian undertones. There weren't Christian undertones.
You were being subversive.
Yes, very subversive.
Okay.
Yeah, because the idea that there'd be Christian undertones to this show is really funny.
Okay. No, I didn't. I don't know
You were getting
well enough
self-conscious.
yet to know.
But
that
I
you
also
were
deliver
being-
everything I deliver very straight.
Yeah.
I don't
so
put a spin
I
on
didn't
it.
know that it was. you
Yeah.
were-
By the way, not embarrassing.
Yeah,
I fool lots of
okay.
people.
I'm glad. By the way, I'm so glad that you. I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned a lot of people that you mentioned, but I'm really glad that you mentioned Harold Ramis.
I'm glad I did too.
very
His
meaningful.
daughter's lovely, and she wrote a book about him. And yeah,
Okay. And I do still think it's a bold take that you put Woody Allen up there. And
right.
I think that's bold.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And we have to arrange for you to meet Alan Alda.
He's not doing well.
No.
No. He wouldn't know me from a hole. And
No.
yeah, he's not. Well, he's older, and
Yeah.
he's lived a life, and he's.
Yeah.
I don't want to spread rumors on this show. This is what I've heard,
Right.
and I'm only saying it from that. I don't know as a
Right.
fact. I wasn't, but I heard some things, and I think he's not doing well. And I'm sorry if people don't know that. I'm terribly embarrassed to have even said that. It's none of my
he's in his
business.
90s.
Yeah, but it's none of my business to
Okay.
even say that. But I wish I could have. He was a remarkable, and that performance, and because he's such a warm, affable, interesting guy, he is such I don't know what the word to use to describe him in Crimes and Misdemeanors, but he's as big a jerk
Right. He's
as
playing-
anybody could.
right.
He's a
It's
jerk.
the opposite of who.
And, yeah, and so he's amazing.
Okay. So we covered a lot.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful. I really appreciate you're a true improviser because you
Yeah.
didn't deny and you just went wherever we went.
Wherever I got,
I loved it. I loved it.
But I have much respect for you.
Thank you. I
If
hope
I didn't have respect for you, I wouldn't even be here. And by the way, if you're still watching, this was a last minute thing.
very
This
spontaneous.
is like
yeah.
when did we decide on this? Yesterday.
Last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that we'll have other opportunities to revisit.
I'll do this
Okay.
again.
Yeah. Okay.
I will.
But we're going to close it out now.
Yes.
So I just want to know any parting thoughts. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. This is not your last will and testament. It's just something you would like us to think about until next time.
I have one.
I'd love to.
It's something that I put on my sons, and I say that to them, and I've said it to other people. Take what you do seriously. Do not take yourself seriously. How about that?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And as a matter of fact, you could say to my sons, "What does your dad always say?" And they
That's
will.
the line?
That's the line. Yes.
Take what
Because I
you
think that's
do
the biggest
serious.
life lesson. Some people in my business take your craft seriously. Take what you
Right.
do seriously. Camera's not rolling. You're not in a preparation mode. Hey, how are you today? Nice to see you. I do look stupid in this shirt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever it is. And I find the opposite so often, and it kills me. Kills me when people take themselves too seriously.
Like the guy who's too good to have idols. I don't want to use the word idol. I'm very opposed to idolatry. He doesn't have heroes. He doesn't have a Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that
cool.
dude. Yeah,
that
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
He's too cool to have a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It kind of threw me.
Yeah.
It stays with me though. Isn't that funny? I've not forgotten that. And he's not like even an important figure in my life where he let me down. He was someone that I had not known.
It wasn't
very
disillusioning
long.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an honor.
It's been a pleasure, an honor. Okay, so take what you do seriously. Do not take yourself seriously. Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Fatherly advice.
Yeah. Yeah. So if that sticks with anyone,
I think it will.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, Yisrael, whenever you're ready, let us know that the feed is off.
Okay. There we go. That was
amazing.
great.
Amazing.
Fantastically delightful.